Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're playing Dungeon World Myth the Wind Age, and we have a whole new set of players today, so we're going to be doing like a session 0 for the group. We'll go around and everybody can introduce themselves, we'll make characters, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get to it in just a second here. Alright, you guys want to quickly just introduce yourselves?
Sure. I go by Pat, and my character is Jack, the Devil Slayer. He's been playing. He's a crazy, insane person who goes to the farthest enemy and hits them and then returns.
Alright, I guess we'll go down the list. So Lex, you're next. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, me? Okay. I haven't made my character much, a little bit fleshed out. The
Oh, sorry,
only
this is
thing
just
that I
this
made.
is just you as a player. We'll get to the characters in a
Oh,
minute.
okay. My name is Lex. I'm not a streamer, not anything. I'm just some random person out there, and I'm excited to play with y'all.
Alright, and then we have H. I should warn you guys. I have a little trouble with my mouse. Sometimes it doesn't want to let me click and drag stuff. So occasionally there'll be a brief pause while I fumble with stuff. I can't see who. I can't see like all of everybody's names. I just see like the first letter. So who's H?
Head Rat Clan.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, I go by Dustin. I'm new to this system. It's been a while since I've done TTRPGs. I always get that acronym wrong. Just due to work, so it's nice to get back into it, even if the system is quite simplified.
All right, and Vindel.
You can call me Vindel, and gonna be playing Odo, the simple paladin.
All right, and Windpage.
You can just call me Wind. I am very well known for terrible rolls, so you will get a good kick out of everything.
Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. Okay, so for this session, it's just the four of you guys. We originally were supposed to have a fifth person, but they dropped out at the last minute. We have three other regular players that are in the campaign, but they're going to be sitting out until you guys are introduced and get your first adventure under your belt. So this is gonna be like a session 0 for us for this party, and then you guys will join up with them later. We're gonna make characters. Got a couple housekeeping things to do. We're gonna make characters, and you're gonna figure out your bonds with each other. And if we have time, we'll get into some adventuring today. Like I said, we're streaming this live, so don't make any weird off-color comments if you can help it. Okay. First thing, housekeeping item is safety tools. Since we all don't know each other that well yet, I'd like to ask you guys to help basically make this game fun for everybody and not stressful by using the safety tools that we have. So I introduced this thing in Roll20, which is called the safety deck. So if you look in Roll20, you should see on the lower right, there's like a deck of cards icon. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so if you click on that and then click choose, you have the options to slow down, keep going, or stop. I'm going to do keep going for just as an example. There we go. So I throw that out on the table. And so the general idea is we don't want this, this is supposed to be fun. We don't want to cause real life anxiety for anybody. So if something is really just rubbing you the wrong way for whatever reason, you don't have to explain why. You don't have to, justify it. But, if you were like, I really don't want to be a part of this scene, it's stressing me out or whatever, or maybe, this is really immersion breaking. Somebody's making a Christmas elf character in a serious horror game, or something like that. You can use these cards to kind of indicate how you're feeling, like what your vibe is. So, if you're really excited for something, say keep going. If you're like getting out of your comfort zone, then slow down. And stop means we're gonna pause the scene there. If it's clear what caused the stress, then we'll just cut that out, skip over it, and move on. If it's unclear, then we'll take a quick break, and I can talk privately with whoever put the card down just to make sure that I understand what it is that you want to edit. But again, you don't have to explain it to me. You don't have to justify like why you want the change. Just just let me know what it is so that I can change things appropriately. Are you guys all okay with that? Do you guys want to do that?
Yeah, sounds great.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
down.
cool with it.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so that's the safety stuff. And then also at the end of the session, if there's anything that you like, especially were excited about that happened during the session that somebody did well, like, you're really excited for this particular plot hook, or like, you really had a great role playing scene with another person in the party. You can give them a star at the end. Just tell them, hey, you did a great job. I really liked X, Y, and Z. Or you can also say, if I would like to see more of X in the game. So we can talk about. You can either post that in the chat over the course of the intervening week, or just mention it at the end of the session when we're doing the XP and stuff like that. Okay. Any questions about that before we get into the system stuff?
Nope.
Nope.
Cool. Okay. So Dungeon World is a 2d6 system. I think you guys have all played D&D before, so you know what I mean, but I say 2d6, right? Does anybody not understand that?
Yes.
Well, D20 uses, well, not D20. D&D uses a D20, but yeah, I'm familiar with the idea of the system.
Yeah, so the way the system works, you're going to roll 2d6, and then you'll add something. It's going to be one of your 6 ability scores. The ability scores are the same as in D&D: Strength, Dex, Constitution, and so on. So you're gonna add your modifier from your ability score to the 2d6, and then you'll get a result. And a 6 or lower result means not only did you not do the thing that you tried to do, but something's going to happen as a result. So every roll that you make matters. So it's important to kind of hold your dice, until I confirm that you should roll something. So if you say, like, I want to hit this guy, and that guy's got, like, I don't know, if you try to hit somebody with a flame spell and they're immune to fire, I'm going to say hold your dice, because you're not able to make a move against that person yet. You got to satisfy some condition first. But if it's a situation where it's like everybody's trying to figure something out, rather than having everybody make a perception check like you would typically do in a D&D game, it'll be like one person making the check, and then there's consequences to the check. So that person might get to ask a question about the situation, and I have to answer truthfully as a GM. But then some complication might arise as a result of that. So every dice roll matters in the fiction. So it's not just a question of you failed a skill check. I just failed a perception check. It's I just failed a perception check and we're getting ambushed. Something like that. So just keep that in mind. The game uses narrative. It's a narrative system. So we're going to do a little bit of tabletop style gaming, sort of like to make it a little more D&D-like, because Dungeon World kind of steers towards D&D more than other narrative games, but it's going to be really informal. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of modifiers. There's no like templates that you drop down at the table to determine the exact area of a fireball. There's no you don't have to count how many spaces you're moving, that kind of stuff. So we do whatever's dramatically appropriate, whatever makes sense in the scene. And there's no initiative. The initiative will be determined by me based on what you guys are doing at a given moment. So if there's like a combat and everybody wants to do something, I might stop everybody and say, okay, what's everybody doing? And then once you guys have all explained your actions, then I'll decide who goes first. Or, if you guys are in the middle of a situation, things are kind of flowing along, I might just call on everybody and say, here's what's happening to your character. What do you want to do about it? So it's going to be a little bit different in that regard. And then the fiction is more important than the mechanics of the system. So, if I say, your character gets their hand cut off, then, you can't use weapons with that hand. Like, there's no mechanic in the game that's like, you only have one hand, but then, you're using your left hand. So I might give you -1 forward or something like that. Might give you a penalty. So just try to, you want to play your character as if they're a real person living in this world, and make decisions accordingly. Rather than play it the way that you would play like a board game. Does that make sense?
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So then we're into, the other thing, you guys, because it's a narrative system, you guys can introduce elements into the game. Sometimes I'll ask you to do that, and sometimes you can do that just because you want to do it and it makes sense. So a good example is like, let's say you're fighting a goblin in a blacksmith shop, right? You know, if you're playing D&D, you might say, "Hey DM, is there a hammer around that I can pick up and hit this goblin with because I'm not armed right now?" In a narrative system, you can just say, "I pick up a hammer and hit the goblin." Like you don't have to. If it's something that makes sense in the context of the scene, you can just introduce some fiction to go along with the scene. It doesn't have to be like, you know, and then we'll, if it's something that we think doesn't make sense, then we'll pause for a second and talk about it and make a correction. But just keep that in mind, is that you guys can create stuff and help flesh out the story. Okay. So onto character creation. What classes is everybody playing?
Paladin.
Be a ranger.
Okay, so so we have Odo, the paladin, played by Vindel. And then who's playing the ranger? Sorry,
Me, Zane, Lex. Kit Kat
Lex. Okay. And then who else?
I was originally gonna do a cleric, but I think I'm gonna change over the druid.
We already have a druid, so you can't play the same class that somebody else is playing. Sorry.
Well, I'm not playing a cleric. Those suck at this system. Which so what do we got then?
Okay, so you let me just go over all of the options that are in the core book, and you can play something from the splat books, but you have to look it up on your own and then okay it with me. Let's see. So I'm pulling up the Dungeon World play sheets PDF file. Do you guys all have that file handy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first.
I think I do.
They're
Okay, so
pinned under Myth Wind Age on the upper.
yeah, it's in the pinned messages in the chat. Yeah. So the basic of classes available: Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Immolator, Paladin, Ranger, Thief, and Wizard. The ones that are currently taken, we just heard that we have a Ranger and a Paladin. We have a Druid already, and we have an Immolator already. So the ones that are not claimed yet are Barbarian, Cleric, Fighter, Thief, and Wizard. Plus any splat book classes that you want to bring in from the expanded list that's in the pins.
You wanted to play like a necromancer?
Yeah, but the thing with that was I was wanting to play a necromancer cleric in any system. I recently got into a campaign for D&D for a separate group that I'm basically playing the exact same character there, and since D&D's better when it comes to necromancy and healing options, I really don't want to play the same character here.
The character is what you make it.
I know, but mechanically it's the same, and I'm going to get them confused.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Crap, splat. You said it was pinned?
Yeah, so it's in the pin. If you click on the little, click on the Myth of Wind Age chat channel, and then click on the little thumbtack at the top right for pin messages, and then it's like the third or fourth message down, the Dungeon World 1.1 PDF.
Ah.
And the one I
sorry, that's the
regular chat.
Sorry, I think that one's the book actually. There's a couple more messages down from that. There's a link to the official Dungeon World site, dungeonworld.com/downloads, and then you can click on the play kit and download that.
Well, I just downloaded the book, so I'll just scroll through the menu of that.
Okay, that works too.
But after you play this for a bit, then you've got the Class Warfare PDF. But I wouldn't advise that for the first, because that one takes a little bit longer.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Paladin, we have Ranger, we have one person who's still thinking about it, and then one more. Who's the last person? Wind. What are you playing? Do you know?
I'll go Fighter.
All right, sounds good.
I protest. Somebody needs to play a bard. We had a bard that played with us, and
I mean, I
Did they
looked at the
perish?
class. It's not something I'm interested in. IRL, I have the personality of a blunt brick, so I would not be a good bard.
fighter's great for you. Then don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't see the splat books anywhere. That's
Oh,
just
so there's in the pin section, somebody posted a link called "Big List of Dungeon World Playbooks." That was from Handicap. So that has links to all of them. Some of them you have to pay for, but there's a lot of free ones too.
Abjurer. Oh,
I would suggest to stick to the free ones because I still have to approve it. If you pay for something and then I don't approve it, you're probably going to be mad about it.
source is free.
Okay, so we'll let you think about that for a bit. Let's talk about the. So I'm gonna just pull up one of the playbooks. So open up the play kit PDF and scroll down to whichever playbook you're playing. And if you look at the PDF, you'll see that there's a list of names that are suggestions. You can pick whatever name you want, but those are like, ones that are good for that class, they think. And there's, for the barbarian, there's titles. I don't know if all of them have that. And then there's a look, and the idea is that you're supposed to pick one adjective from each category. So like the barbarian for the body category, it has mighty thews, long shanks, scrawny, or supple. So if I could say I have a barbarian with long shanks, and its eyes are tormented, haunted, wild, or shrouded. So I could say barbarian with long shanks and wild eyes, that kind of thing. So go through and pick those things. And then the next thing after that is assigning your ability scores. And if you look at the top of the block in the PDF where the ability scores are, there's a list in small print. It says assign these scores to your stats. I'll say 16 plus 2, 15 plus 1, and so on. So you got to pick which score goes in which category and then write down the modifier accordingly. So I'll let you guys get through that, and then we'll go on to the next part when you're ready. And again, remember the results that you want are, 7 to 9 is a 6 or minus is a failure, 7 to 9 is a success, but with a twist or a complication or a difficult decision, and then 10 is an absolute success. Just to give you a feel for what the scale of the stats are.
Oh, that stinks. One looked fun, we'll call it the calling, but apparently the link is broken because it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that sucks. Try to find that on Wayback Machine if you're determined.
I mean, you can summon stuff, that's cool. The rest just don't seem all that interesting, to be honest. Free
There
ones anyway.
there is a Lich character that has undead minions.
There were a couple necromancer things.
I'm already doing Necromancer in a separate campaign. I'm going to try and avoid that.
There was a couple summoner. You're interested in summoning things, or
More of a, I don't like fighting directly. I'd prefer to stand back and let my minions take the punches. Oh, I read that as Entomancer. That would have been fun. No, Ectomancer, that's different.
Ain't that Ghost?
Entomancer is insects. That's what I thought it said.
Clearly, they're just skins. You could make a necromancer that's a ranger. I'm just saying. You could be an undead Hulk. You know what I mean?
I thought these are full-blown classes. This is how it
They are,
determines how
but
you...
there's a lot of reskinning that you could do. As long as the rules, it doesn't make any difference how you get there.
Oh, that is not how I'm used to games running. Usually you get a package and that is it. You are stuck with that for the rest of the game.
I mean, ain't Dungeon World a narrative TTRPG? So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can be flexible.
Like, for instance, you take Bard, by second level, you can cross-class to the Ranger thing and summon your undead minion and you curse people and do things like that, you know? There's lots of options. That's all how you play it. This is just the simplest way of doing it.
That is such a weird system to me. I'm so used to it. You get stuck with what you're stuck with. You gotta decide right away, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah, if you can just think conceptually what you want, then we could probably help you find something that might mechanically click with that more, because some will click more with the concept than others.
I wanted a secondary idea for a character was like a thief.
So there is a thief class in the core
A
classes.
thief druid who uses wild shape to steal shit primarily.
Well, you can do that. You can be a
Yeah, except
rogue and multi.
the
Take
druid.
both
The druid's already
rogues
taken.
and no.
No, you
The
can
base class.
multi-class.
It's not really
From
multi-classing. Each class has an option, at least in the 2 to 5, and some through 6 to 10, to take different options.
Yeah, you can take the like a multi-class ability and take the druid shapeshift. So you could be a thief that shapeshifts.
Yeah, you could do that.
Oh, okay. Then I'll go with thief, I guess. I
Awesome.
had the multi-class to get that, and since we already had a druid off the table, no druid
No.
for anybody except that one guy.
That's just a base. Like, my character is a version of the rogue, but not. I'm called the punk. And one of my multi-classes I did, we had an immolator, and I took his fire through training into my chain, which I use to whip people with. I'm not a full-blown immolator, but I have some of his abilities.
Huh. I don't play narrative games usually. I find them to be usually a bit too slow. That's probably my Vampire the Masquerade's experience speaking. Yeah, I go thief. Start, I guess.
All right, we'll keep moving through here while you're deciding that. Or did you settled on thief?
Thief to start, then dump
Okay.
everything else into druid multi-class.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so we have a ranger, thief, a fighter, and a paladin. Very good. And then the next thing for character creation, once you've chosen your name and look, and your stats, you figure out your hit points next. So in the PDF, it'll say some number. For the barbarian, for example, it's 8. So it'll say 8 plus constitution. That's your constitution score. So it'll be like a 15 as opposed to a +1. So you can add that together, figure out your current and maximum hit points, and then you get your damage die. Once you've done that, there's a section called starting moves on the first page of your playbook. So you pick one of those. Some of the ones that have X's you get for free to start with, and then it'll give you a list to pick from. It'll say choose one of these. So you got to choose one of those moves.
So I don't get to choose mine, just choose a animal companion for me. Okay.
I think there's an option for ranger, isn't there?
Since I don't get like a tick box.
Oh, you just describe what it is, and then you pick whether it's tough.
Oh yeah. So
No, the choosing part for the starting moves. I think I only get the 3 things.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. So your thing that you're customizing at the start is choosing the stats and everything for your animal companion. So choose what.
I don't get to choose any starting moves. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So you pick one of those 4 base stat blocks, and then you, depending on what ferocity you pick, you can choose as many of the descriptors in the right column as your ferocity. So like if you took +2 ferocity, you could take huge and burly, for example. And then you choose as many additional traits as its cunning, additional trainings as its cunning. So you choose from that list, and then you choose as many weaknesses as its instinct. And then when you guys are done with that, you can choose your race from the 2 options that are there, or you can pick a different race and we can figure out something that's appropriate for that class and race combination. I pasted the list of available races in the chat. And when you're done with that, hop to the starting gear on the following page. It'll give you like some things that you start with, and then you'll have like usually like a weapon and one other thing that you get to pick. So you follow the instructions there and pick whatever makes sense for your character's starting thing. And then if you're playing a spellcaster, which I guess we don't actually have a spellcaster, I don't think so. So you guys won't have to choose spells.
Wait, the druid.
Yeah, it's not a spellcaster.
Oh, okay.
But it can be.
Right, so the druid gets the ability to talk to animals and spirits. So you can get spirits to do things for you, but it's not really spellcasting per se.
Unless, of course, you switch one of your things so that you could get the cleric or the wizard list or whatever. You know,
right.
pretty open.
Wait, what's which
Couldn't make that out. You're breaking up.
which fire which what oh sorry, I'm just thinking of words on the moment. What's your route for your druid, by the way? What's
She's
your
a
objective?
melee monster that likes to control the party.
Okay, so you're not going to deal with talking to animals and stuff.
She's
different than me.
So the druid, so she's not here right now for this current session. But her general style is like she wants to make friends with every animal. And she likes to turn into a dragon lion thing and maul stuff, and breathe fire. And she likes to be stealthy and shoot at things like a ranger.
Okay.
Oh, some Path of the... Yeah, I know which one that is.
So she took some ranger things because she loves rangers.
Hey, yo, let's go.
Okay, so once you guys have made all those decisions, the next thing is to get everything into Roll20. So if your class is one that's in the list of character classes, which I think everybody's is, you should be able to click on that and it should fill out a lot of this stuff for you. And then you just basically you're going to copy everything else that's left over from the PDF. At the second or third page of the play kit PDF, there's 8 basic moves. That's like defy danger and discern realities, those things. So make sure you copy those things into your Roll20 sheet. Let me know if you guys need help with that. And then add in your hit points and stats and all that kind of stuff so you can roll dice in the game.
Question, DM.
Yep.
Which in this canonical universe, which race is much more closely resembling a bird-like person or some sort? If there is.
So there's no bird people in the lore that I know of. You could, if you wanted to introduce bird people, I'm fine with it. But there's nothing like that as far as I remember in canon.
And you said low rolls were good for the system?
So yeah. So
rolls are the way you get XP.
Yeah, whenever you roll six or less on a roll, you get an experience point. So it kind of encourages you to push your character out of your comfort zone and roleplay a little bit.
So I can make a custom race, huh?
Yeah.
Not custom, but like a mixed race of some sort.
Yeah, you can. Then just give you the idea for concept, and then if you pick a race that's not in the list of races for your playbook, they'll have to come up with a special ability for that race for your class. Oh, and then the other things I forgot to mention, you got to choose your alignment. The alignment is important because it determines another way that you get experience points, and it's going to be dependent on your class. So for the cleric, for example, if you choose good, then you get an experience point if you endanger yourself in order to heal another during the session. That's just an example from the cleric play sheet. So depending whatever it says under alignment for your class, that'll determine how you get experience at the end of the session. Let me know when you guys are caught up with that, and then we can talk about the bonds.
So when it says moves, are we just typing in what we have?
Yeah, so the way it works, you open one of the character sheets so I can look at it while I'm talking here. So under the move section, there's like a little black arrow drill down thing for each move. And then if it starts you out blank, then you're gonna click add for every move. If you picked one of the classes at the top of the sheet, it might fill some of that stuff in for you. I don't remember. But then for each move, what you're gonna do, you're gonna fill in the 8 basic moves. And there's a screenshot that I pasted in the chat that shows kind of how the move is filled out. So it goes the name of the move and then the trigger. The trigger is like the description of what you have to do in order to trigger that move. So like for hack and slash, the triggers when you attack an enemy in melee. So if you read the whole ability, it's when you attack an enemy in melee, roll plus strength. On a 10 plus, deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. On a 7 to 9, deal your damage to the enemy and the enemy makes an attack against you. And then on a 6 or less, you miss. It doesn't say anything, I think. So that's how the move reads in the text of the playbook. So what you want to do for the Roll20 sheet is you want to split that up into the different sections. So the when you attack an enemy in melee part is the trigger. The roll part you check because you're rolling for this move, and then you pick which attribute, so it's strength. And then for success, you put in the 10 plus result text, and then at a cost, you put the 7 to 9 result text. Let me know if you're able to figure that out, or we can screen share or whatever you guys want to do. And again, so you should add all the things that are listed as starting moves for your character class, the ones that you get automatically, and whichever thing you picked, and then also the 8 basic moves, which are parlay, defend, spout lore, defy danger, discern realities, aid or interfere, and which one did I miss? Volley and hack and slash. Maybe that's more than 8. I lost count.
DM, I sent you a DM about the race, my custom race, I guess.
Okay.
Does that work?
Mutations. Okay. Okay. So which class are you again? Sorry.
Ranger.
Ranger. Okay. Well, you have experience with staying out of sight. Plus take 1 plus 1 to defy danger by hiding. Let me look at some of the other moves that the racial moves usually don't grant a stat bonus. It's usually like just something that you can do. So like, for example, I'm going to give examples from the druid class. So it says, Elf, the sap of the elder trees flows within you. In addition to any other attunements, the great forest is always considered your land. So it's modifying one of your starting moves. For halfling, it's you sing healing songs of spring and brook when you make camp. You and your allies heal plus 1d6. So it's a stat bonus, but it's not a bonus to your roll, which is an important distinction. So it should be.
Where are the race?
Oh, actually,
like that.
I take that back. Halfling does have, yeah. So you can, you actually can do that. I take that back because fighter does have an option that's like that.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them are not like that, but there are a few that are.
I'll let you know that the basic fighter is one of the more versatile classes. Actually, you look at how many times it can cross class.
Okay.
And Bard is the most. You You can literally wander everywhere with Bard. This is just amongst the base classes.
I know. So as you guys are making your characters, let me know what starting moves you pick. So I might have questions for you, narrative questions for you about them.
Don't we just get all of them as is?
So
Yes.
for the so it depends on your class. So for the ranger, you just get all of them as is, but then you make choices about your animal companion. For fighter, you get all of them as is, but then you're making choices about your signature weapon. Let's see, for paladin. I thought some of them let you choose moves. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess you get all those for paladin. No, yeah, you do get all of them. I'm sorry.
What is the difference between hand and close?
Okay, so so that's talking about ranges, and we describe ranges in narrative terms, so it's not a specific measurement in meters or squares or anything like that. It's more of a general, like, is it something, are you punching somebody? Are you hitting them with a sword? Are you throwing something at them at a short distance, like a grenade? Or are you throwing something really far or shooting really far, like with a bow? So those are the different ranges. So it goes hand, I think it's actually hand, adjacent, close, near, far. I'm pretty fast and loose with the range rules, such as they are. So, it was just to kind of give you a general idea how big a weapon is. Or like what kind of options you have with it, I guess. How about alignment? Has anybody picked their alignment out yet?
I haven't even got that
Yes,
far yet.
sir.
Okay. I heard somebody say yes, sir. Was that the Vindel?
Me, Lex. I'm choosing the middle one. Wait, what's the name? Neutral, to help animals or spirits of some of the wild.
Okay, very good.
I'm taking good. Endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you.
Very good.
Chaotic, I guess, because that's the most thiefish I can think of.
Okay, so what is the alignment trigger for chaotic?
Leaps into danger with the. Oh, that's what it means.
Yeah, you choose that instead of the good, evil, neutral.
In that case, going with, based on my class thing here, evil. Shift to danger or blame someone else.
All right, very good. We should probably have a quick get a same page discussion about PvP, because some narrative games really lean into the characters having competing goals and messing with each other's stuff, and other games tend towards more cooperative. I think my feeling about Dungeon World is that it tends to be a more cooperative game. You guys might have disagreements about stuff, but we ultimately expect to resolve any disagreements as you guys gel as a team and work through your bonds and stuff like that. And we're not out to backstab each other at the end of the campaign. Are you guys on board with that, or do you want to play it differently?
I'm cool with that.
I'm down.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
good
it.
with that. I've always followed the rule of, even if I'm playing a chaotic evil character, I don't fuck with other party members.
Yeah,
Only NPCs.
that's a good rule.
And they're a fair game, not the party. Unless they start it. In that case, fair game. But I'm
Yeah.
never the one to initiate that one.
Yeah, so I'm okay with it either way, as long as everybody's on the same page about it. Because if one person wants to play cooperative and one person wants to backstab that person, then things go sideways.
Though, I mean, there could be I mean, I would relinquish a character if, like, to the GM if it got to the point where, like, if you're like slaughtering people innocents, like my paladin wouldn't want to be part of the group anymore, so I'd roll a new character. Because it just wouldn't make sense with the character I have.
Right. Yeah. So if we get into a circumstance like that, which hopefully we won't, but we'll see, then we'll probably make sense for us to pause the game and talk about it out of game and decide what direction we want to go. Okay.
What class is Windpage playing? Because I'm trying to think of a bond.
Fighter.
A fighter. Okay.
Yeah. So has everybody got their stats and hit points and stuff like that filled in at this point, and their gear selected mostly?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about the bonds. So the deal with the bonds is, on the right side of the first page of your class, it lists a couple of bonds. These are just examples to get you started. So for thief, it says, I stole something from blank. And then there's another one that's blank has my back when things go wrong. So those are examples of bonds you could take. I'm going to ask 3 of you guys to leave one of those example bonds open so that you can form bonds with the other party later when you guys join up. Does that make sense? But then you guys can form amongst yourselves as many bonds with the other players as you want to start out with. And you guys, both of you have to agree in order for the bond to be formed, and all the bonds are unidirectional. So I stole something from blank. If you say I stole something from Odo, that doesn't necessarily mean that Odo has a bond with you, if that makes sense. Or Odo might have a bond with you, but it might be something that's of a different nature. So why don't we? So somebody want to go first? Let's have a volunteer.
I'm also going to have to do the bonds with people that are here currently.
Right. Yeah. So there's 3 more players that are not here today that you're gonna have to put bonds with. So I'd like 3 of you guys to leave 1 bond each open, if that makes sense.
Since you said earlier that the druid, the druid that likes the animals, I'm looking at one of the bond thing, and it seems like it kind of tie in.
Okay. So what you may want to do then is post that in the chat, suggest it to Veranza. She can look at it over the next week or whenever, and you guys can figure out whether that bond makes sense to her as well. Does anybody have a sense of other bonds that they want to have with the folks that are here?
Yeah, I'm just making one up. How long have our characters been traveling together? Are we saying like they've been together for a little while?
That's a good question, and I'm going to leave that completely up to you guys. So you guys all more or less, to some extent, know each other. I strongly suggest you have a bond with at least one other person. It gives you a bonus when you're helping that person in a fight. It gives you experience points if you progress that relationship over the course of a session. So it's a good idea to have bonds, and bonds give you guys reasons to work together or reasons to roleplay and interact with each other. So they're pretty important for the narrative. But as you guys figure out the bonds, you guys can figure out how long you've all been together. You don't necessarily have to have all been one party, but you all know each other from before. Does that make sense?
Okay, perfect. Hey, so I throw one with Zane, maybe. Zane seems like he's really wise. I can count on him for advice.
Okay, and Zane is...
Me as in the ranger? Me? Zane?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he grew up with owls, so yeah, sure.
Okay, and sorry.
Grew up in the forest, so okay.
Sorry, whose bond was that? Whose bond was that? Was that Odo?
Odo.
Okay.
Odo.
I'm just making notes for myself so I can get story hooks for later. Okay, Zane, what about you? Why don't we do one of your bonds?
I lied to someone about does not understand the wild.
You can also just read out one of...
Yeah, who amongst... Okay, I want to tick this one off. Who amongst the party currently doesn't look like they know about the wilds or the know how to do the lay of the land, survive in the wilds and such. Currently, looks, not knows.
Anybody want to volunteer to be the target of that bond?
Yeah, I don't really burn down any trees.
Okay,
I-
Dram's
I,
jumping in.
Yeah, but I burn down trees. So yeah, I guess I don't know much about the wilds. Maybe I could learn something.
Oh, sorry. So I guess we actually
What's
do
up,
have
folks?
two. Hey Ahmed. So this is Ahmed. He's our immolator player. So actually, we do have
guys.
two of the three players from the other group on now.
Oh, was there any questions or any? Yeah, I'm happy to be the target of anybody's bonds and or, however.
Okay. So
Also, there's if you go, Player Flare is streaming music if you guys want music. FYI.
All right.
all right. So Zane, are you taking that bond with Dram?
Are they willing to?
That was Ahmed. He was just talking. He was
Yeah, hi,
volunteering.
yes, me. I was volunteering
Okay, then yeah, sure. Zane will
because
try
I'm
to
an
teach you.
emulator and I burned down the forest, so I never got a chance to learn about it. So you can teach me about the wilds.
Nice. All right. How about Jonathan? Do you have a name for your character yet?
Yes, I went with Jarlvi, or Rat, in air quotes as his nickname, which will be his preferred animal form when he gets that ability.
Nice. Why don't you read off one of your bonds that you want to fill? We'll see if we can get somebody to fill in.
Well, there's really two of them that could work together here, which is knows incriminating details and have a con running. That could be the same person, because, yeah, you're running a con with them. They also know you're running a con with them.
All right. Does anybody want to volunteer for one of those?
Anyone who's probably a bit more morally flexible, for lack of a better word.
That sounds like Jack. What do you think, Pat?
That sounds pretty good.
Okay. So which one is it? Does he know incriminating details about you, Jack, or do you have a con running together? Or what?
Brings back memories. I used to have a con going way earlier in the game.
Yeah,
But yes,
that's
I'd
true.
like to have a
I
con
love
going.
that you guys were like in a gang together and used to drink at a bar somewhere back in the day, and you guys are
Yeah.
just like seeing each other again from
was
a long time ago.
I like that. All right.
Yeah, the old
Punk buddies from the dock.
Yeah, the old you accidentally, in air quotes, knock over the merchant at the stand because you're quote unquote drunk. And then I just sneak up behind him and steal all the shit and run away. Because I'm a halfling, I'm small.
Sounds good.
Also, audio. What's your character's name?
Dram, Dram. He's the immolator.
Thanks.
I'm Dram. I have a really long Dram Stoker, the Flamepire Hunter. I have a long, convoluted, idiotic name.
So do you hunt flaming vampires? Is that how that works?
You know what? I didn't really work it out. I think I know I hunt flame pyres, which are vampires made of flame, I guess. Nobody has ever questioned me about that.
Yeah, we did talk about it at the beginning. We did talk about it in the first session.
But I guess it must have been something stupid enough that it just kind of let it ride and nobody ever questioned it. I guess I'm not much of a hunter. I'm just a fire guy. I shoot fire out of my hands. I'm I'm a fire guy.
All right. Wynn, do you have a name for your character yet?
Random name generator gave me Ichabod.
Ichabod. Okay, very good. All right, so Ichabod, who do you have a bond with, or who do you want to have a bond with?
Somebody that's hopefully going to be smarter than he is.
I have an intelligence of 9.
Not
so
it.
It's not me. Not me.
I got 8.
It's definitely not Jack.
I'm wise but not smart.
This party has a dearth of intelligence. We're off to a really good start.
Oh my.
I have a 16 in wisdom, but that doesn't translate to intelligence.
I don't even know what mine is. I haven't even
I
really
think I
filled
might
mine in
have.
yet.
I think I might have lied. I think my character is smart, but
And you're actually smart.
I don't act smart. I guess
That's
I have a high intelligence technically.
that's right. Of the three of you guys, you have the highest in. I remember because you're the one that got the book.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're actually intelligence based, but you don't play it like that is.
I
Okay, so
play more like a dork than a nerd.
all right, so Ichabod, are you taking a bond with Dram then?
Yes.
All right. Does anybody have? So you guys can have. Go ahead.
My second bond with Ichabod. I'll say that because Ichabod's a fighter, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I say I fought with Ichabod, and he saved me from getting walloped last battle. I got his back next time.
What kind of fight were you in when he saved you?
Some type of ambush. I probably slept through my watch, and things got pretty hectic. I guess whatever type of local barbaric humanoid creature was around attacked
Yeah.
us.
Okay, so
And
let me talk about the world a little bit, and you can make a informed decision. So, the setting, the setup of the setting is it's fantasy world. Every 1,000 years, a comet comes, and when the comet comes, the world changes hands. For 1,000 years, the light rules, and then for 1,000 years, the dark rules. And there's a big battle at the end of that 1,000-year marker at the time when the comet is in the sky, and the enemy, the agents of the dark, are led by a group of undead, powerful undead leaders called the Fallen Lords. The Fallen Lords have incredible strength. They're very tough. They're almost impossible to kill. They've got crazy magical abilities, which magic in this game is called dreams, or in this setting, I should say, is called dreams. And so they wield these powerful dreams on the battlefield. And they all rise up, at the 1,000-year marker and try to take over the world, basically, and exterminate all life. And they have, so the mainstay of the armies of the dark is undead. They've got zombies, which are called thrall, which are like, I should mention also the Fallen Lords are always the heroes from the previous age. So when everybody, when you guys fight off the Fallen Lords and win the day, you're going to become the bad guys in 1,000 years. That's the way things work in this world that you guys live in. That's just the way it is. If you're willing to stick your neck out, then, that's the cost. So it's kind of there's kind of a dark edge to this setting because, you basically you're fighting undead all the time, right? So anybody that gets killed in battle, that you're fighting side by side with, you might be fighting against them the following day. So that's sort of the world that you guys live in. There are living creatures that also serve the Fallen Lords. There are a series of goblinoids called Gower, which we'll talk more about when we get into the adventure if we have time for that tonight. They're sort of like these big, long, lanky, sort of ape-like goblinoids that love to collect body parts, and they love to throw things like improvised projectiles. There are also there's beastmen that have ravaged the world for the past 1,000 years that are called the Myrkridia. And they're, these sort of... Actually, let me show you guys the pictures in Roll20 because they're pretty... let me pull that up here. So these are... you guys can you guys see that in the Roll20 chat? Or in the Roll20 screen?
Yep.
Okay, so that is a goal.
Another face.
Yeah, he's got a human or part of a human head that's like tied to his belt, I think is what it is.
That looks embedded in his leg.
It might be, I don't know.
It's like his leg is really buff and he just has a head in there.
Oh, you know what? Actually, if you zoom in, it's actually a sack that he's got. He's got the strap is over the top of his back. See that? He's got like a shoulder bag, and the head is sticking out of the bag.
Oh yeah, zoomed out. That is not.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And then the other guys, the Myrkridia. Let me show you a picture of them. They're real nasty. They're like basically crazy cannibals that have these like dark rituals that do where they sacrifice people, and they like to eat people. Actually, both of these species like to eat people.
Question.
Yep.
Question. Those skulls, those are human skulls, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
so it's
big creature.
small. God damn.
Yeah, so they're quite big. Yeah, so that gives you an idea of a couple monsters. There's also like, the world is falling to pieces. You guys are in an era where the dark has ruled for 1,000 years, which is called the Wind Age. And so humanity has been driven nearly to extinction because they're hunted for sport and for food by the Myrkridia. So like anytime you travel someplace, you're going to get attacked by something. The places that are like surviving bastions of the light are all like walled cities, walled towns, places that are defensible, because those are the only places that can survive the centuries of ravages by the armies of the dark. But the armies are gathering in strength now, so that may not be true anymore. But it's prophesied that you guys are supposed to be able to turn things around and usher the world into the light. So we'll see whether that happens or not. So there's also, because the world is falling apart, society is kind of on the brink of collapse. There's brigands and other things like that too, so you might fight. There's, if you wander into the wrong forest, you might get attacked by the Fearbolg, which are sort of like the elves, or you might get smashed by a forest giant. So those are some of the types of things that you could have fought against. So back to the ambush, what were you fighting against?
I think it's going to be a whole bunch of, like, just a whole battalion of undead zombie thralls, armored, like maybe a group of humans got wiped out and they were just shambling about, and they happened to shamble over our position, and we didn't notice till it was too late, and it got really hairy because they're slow, but they had already moved around our position in a way.
Fantastic. I
And,
love it.
yeah, things got pretty hectic, and there was one with a giant warhammer, and he was going to clunk me on the head and knock my helmet into my shoulders, but Ichabod pushed me out of the way, and he cut the thing's head off, and yeah, I got his back next time.
Very cool. I like that. That I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this setting is based on the lore from a very old video game series that was published by the company that made Halo before they got bought by Microsoft and started making those games. It was a real-time strategy game where you fought hordes of undead. So that kind of ambush stuff happened all the time in the game. So it's very on point. All right. Who else has another bond that they want to fill? Or is everybody happy with where they're at?
I mean, my character is an open book, so I can't I can't lie about my past.
Okay.
Wait, what? Windpage? What's Windpage's character's name? I think that's the one that I didn't get.
Ichabod, the fighter.
No, I got Ichabod, I got Yarul V Rat, I got Zane, right?
And then we have Odo, the paladin.
Odo. Thanks.
Okay, and Dram, you can form Dram or Jack. You guys can form a bond with one of these guys too if you want.
What's the name of the punk?
Jack.
His name ain't okay. It's Jack. Okay, I looked at the punk before, and he has a move where he just jumps into trouble without making a plan.
That is
So
exactly.
I think I'm gonna make a bond with him that Jack is always getting into trouble. Let me think about it. I'm gonna
You'll
try
be
to
using that.
convince him the value of making a good plan.
I like it. It's been tried before by one of the NPCs. Hasn't worked so far, but it'll be interesting.
Lots of XP digging me out of holes.
Mm. I like it. All right. What else you guys got?
I want to redo my bond with Jack. I want to make it that I'm trying to help him find a Jill to even him out.
Jill. Went up
So
the
I'm going to
hill.
be constantly trying to introduce him to people wherever we go.
I like it.
You're trying to get him
Women,
laid? What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a valid bond.
Cool off a little bit.
All right. So, Jack, are you on board with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
I got a wingman.
So, where's everybody at with the new folks? Where's everybody at with their character creation? Are you guys pretty much done? Are you busy copying stuff into Roll20? What's it look like?
I think I have everything. I'm just trying to look through the rulebook and try to figure out this multi-classing thing because it doesn't say anything about multi-classing.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw under Thief it didn't have a multi-class move.
Yeah, so the thieves, the multi-class things are usually advancements you take as you level up, and it's usually supposed to be like a specific something that's specific to your class, like ranger. Like I think ranger can take a druid move or something like that. So I'm gonna house rule that you could replace one of your starting moves with the shapeshift if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's that would be helpful.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be using. Well, do I want poisoner? Eh.
So, or you could take it as an advancement if you don't want to have it at the start. If you want all your starting moves.
I'd prefer it to have it right away because it's kind of the
All
idea
right.
behind it.
Your call.
I'll just rename it that.
Okay. What about everybody else?
I'll just leave that as NA. And
All
then
set.
just-
Other than
I kind of want to have a bond with one of the new, also new member of the parties.
Okay. What bond do you think makes the most sense? Or if you want to just have it, go ahead.
Maya. The two bonds is I have guided blank before and they owe me for it, and the other one is blank underestimated my talents. I will show them. Ominous, but okay.
Okay, so for the new, does anybody want to fill one of those two bonds? Think that it makes sense for the character.
The guided one would probably work with my character. My character gets lost and distracted easily. Or maybe not lost, but distracted easily.
All right.
Vindel, what's your character? Who's your character?
Odo. Odo.
Okay, so you guided Odo before. What was how did Vindel or how did Odo get lost, and what did Zane guide him out of?
I think Odo was following his little whisper, like the whisper spirit that kind of guides him. And he was wandering off on his own, and he thought he was following it, and then the whisper stopped speaking to him, and he was just wandering through the forest, and he was completely lost. And yeah, I think somehow Zane would have found him, and he was in trouble.
And for Zane's part, he probably saw Odo before he entered like the forest, the area where me and my animal companion once lived or was like housing up, since we are kind of traveling across the land to search for something, and seeing that Odo is like unfamiliar with the terrain, he would like guide him away out of the forest and such.
Okay. All right. So Zane, what kind of scrape did Odo get himself into that you pulled him out of? Was he just lost, or was he fighting something? Was he stuck in a pit? What?
I mean,
I'm not intelligent and I'm clumsy. Those are my weaknesses.
Okay, how about this? I helped Odo from a hunter's trap, not Zane's, but like a random hunter's trap, like a pit trap, and such. When we first met. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And one more question for Odo: why did Whisper stop speaking to you? Was it an argument? Were you doing something that she didn't want you to do?
I think the whisper actually wanted me to find Zane.
Oh, okay.
Or to be found by him, actually.
What did she say to you to get you into that mess?
I don't know. I think it's. I think she normally whispers, and he doesn't really understand it, because she speaks in an elevated way that's kind of beyond him. But every once in a while, she speaks really clearly, just with a few words. So I was like, "Get up, go, get to the forest." Like that was after she tried whispering for a while, and like explaining like that there's a greater thing at play and whatever. And it just kind of it eluded him.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with that. All right, let's see. Zane, you said Dram doesn't look like they know about the wild. What gave you that impression about him?
I mean, he he first of all is trapped in the hunter's a pit trap designed
Oh,
for
sorry.
like
I was asking.
boars
This
and
was
stuff.
that was Odo. I was asking about Dram, the immolator.
Oh,
Sorry.
I burned things down. Maybe that's why. I'm constantly starting fires and stuff.
Was that it, Zane, or was it something else?
I mean, is what's your disposition? It's like, do you actually like burning the forest or stuff, or?
No. I'm not a pyromaniac.
Okay, in that case, Zane kind of feels like it's not technically, you're not technically doing this at your own volition, and like, and saying that animals are kind of hurt by all the stuff you're doing. Just, instead of, ending everything and like, killing you, Zane would instead like try to guide you away from that kind of habit of, destroying houses of other animals like the forest and such.
Oh, we're having a philosophical disagreement about life, death, order, and chaos. How about that? I'm
Look, I
always
know
trying to convince you that barbecue is the highest form of flavor, but you're always on live and let live, and eat a tuber instead. I don't know. Does that work?
I mean, he eats food. He's a hunter. His parents are birds of prey, and he just
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
like the indiscriminate killings and such.
Oh yeah, I don't kill indiscriminately. We might
But
have
if
that
we
in
burn the
common.
houses,
Yeah, I
of
don't.
animals,
Well,
then
I
yeah.
mean, sometimes. Oh well, I guess yeah. In my work, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, right? Like sometimes
Eh, and
fighting
the
evil requires the loss of innocent life. I could get behind that for the sake of roleplay.
if you actually say that quote, you have to break an omelet to stop. Zane would be offended since he is raised
Oh,
by
perfect.
owls.
Perfect. Let that be our bond then. There we go.
That's perfect.
Yeah, you're always looking at me like that guy. He needs reform. He's gonna one day he's gonna destroy the wrong thing and imbalance the world or something.
All right. Is everybody happy with their bonds and mostly done with their characters? Everybody's still working on
I
it.
believe so.
All right, cool. Okay, let's see. A couple other questions that I came up with from talking to you guys off stream. Odo, you mentioned in your character's little history that you gave me that you had a vision about the Lady of Light when you formed your bond with Whisper, which is your guided spirit. What did the Lady of Light look like in your vision? Was she like short or tall? Did she have light hair, dark hair? Was she glowing all over? What was it like?
I'm thinking like glowing white, but beautiful and scary at the same time, kind of like Galadriel when she kind of appears like
Yeah, okay.
super scary queen, but at the same time, but maybe more on the beautiful side than that. Because it would he like he wants to he's been won over by Ilon, so he's like, oh, she's the queen of my heart now, and he
Very
painted
good.
her on the back of his shield, and he's just but he's been deemed he's not like he'll pray to her, but He doesn't. He's not allowed to speak. Like all intercession goes through the little whisper spirit because he's deemed like uncouth for dealing with the higher beings.
Very cool. Okay. And then let's see. Yavi, how did you get the ability to turn into a rat? Like, how does that are you some kind of creature that has that ability? Is it magic? How does it work?
Being a halfling, he has some natural connection to nature, but growing up in the city, didn't have much of the nature, because, city. But he did find he could sort of get along with the local rat population. There's a lot of those, and since he kind of grew up in the slums. So, the natural nature connection kind of comes in handy. Over time, he found supposed in the slums there is a legend about a rat god which can endow certain traits upon its worshippers. So he's like, why not? They're attempting to do rituals. One of them somehow actually worked, and he summoned a talking rat that was like, "This is a surprise. Continue worshiping, you get turned into a rat."
Very cool.
Okay, and then I'm rat now.
I like it. So what
I'm
is
playing Ben for you in honor of your character right now.
I mean, I do have a dagger, and rats can hold stuff, so I don't see why a large rat could not hold a dagger to shank people. I will cut your ankles.
I love it. All right. Lex, you're the ranger, right? Tell me about your animal companion. Sorry, I should be using your character name, Zane.
Okay, yeah. The odd thing is, Zane is raised by. I mean, he's orphaned by his parents because of his generic defects, which is he's growing feathers from all over his body, and he got abandoned in the forest and such. And the first thing that found him is like a flock of owls, and instead of eating him, they decide to raise him. Now, a few years pass. He's now he's kind of a sister, like stepsister's kind of relationship with the owl, and that's basically his animal companion. And he's basically traveling the world because his family got killed, and he's out on a journey with his animal companion, which is Lena, to find the person that massacred his whole flock.
Okay. And what attributes did you pick for Lena?
I pick, if I correctly remembered, 1 ferocity and 2 cunning. Is it cunning? Yeah. 1 ferocity, 2 cunning, 1 armor, and 1 instinct. And the ferocity is stealthy, and sorry, my cat. And the cunning is hunt and scout, while their instinct is savage because of the whole situation with the killing of their flock.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then let's see. Trying to learn everybody's character's name. Ichabod. Tell me about your signature weapon.
Well, he is terrible at using every weapon except for his fists and just so happens a shield.
Nice. Okay. So this is like a unique shield, right? What's unique about it?
Well, it's big enough to be considered something to hide behind when he's about to die. Otherwise, he's in front of it attacking enemies.
So we talking like a tower shield?
Yes.
Very cool. Okay. And where did you pick up this weapon? How did you get it? Is it like dwarven? Is it, was it passed down through your family? What happened with it?
It was basically the weapon that he mastered throughout him when he was learning how to fight.
Cool.
He said if you can't wield a weapon, you might as well block everything else.
You're so shit at hitting stuff and so good at getting hit. Here, learn to get hit good.
A fighter that doesn't know how to fight. That's fantastic.
Well, face tanking
Well,
is
yeah,
still a form of
that's
fighting.
true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, it's completely valid. Let's see, and then okay, going through list of characters, make sure I got everybody. Okay, I think we're good. Well, let's get into. Okay.
I just looked up the largest species of rats, and if you discount capybaras, which are technically rats, the largest ones that are native are about 9 pounds and almost 2 feet long. They live in Florida.
So it's a rodent. You're turning into a rodent of unusual size.
Effectively.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Okay.
become a swamp rat. I see those all the time.
Very cool. All right. Okay. So the game is starting. Can you guys all see the map in Roll20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the game is beginning in the bottom right corner here in the dwarven city of Myrgard. Not all of you are necessarily from Myrgard. It's a huge stone fortress that's carved out of the side of a mountain. It's got an entrance tunnel down in the basement of a huge citadel with 2 curtain walls separating it from the Badlands. It's like really fine dwarven stonework, so the walls are like 10 feet thick. It's very difficult to knock anything down. The stones are fitted so seamlessly that it almost seems like one smooth, perfect piece. When we begin your story, the city of Myrgard is under siege. About 300 yards outside the gates, there's a huge, rough-hewn stone statue, long and kind of egg-shaped like an elongated head on its side. It's very obviously not dwarven work. An army of tall, lanky goblinoids known as the Gower, who I showed you a picture of earlier, surround the statue in scattered camps just out of bowshot from the dwarven city's walls. There are thousands of them. King Herdrog, the king of the dwarves, is paying adventurers to supplement the defending armies on the walls, keeping watch. Forge Master Yardrace, the administrator of Myrgard's enormous forge district, also has 2 projects that he needs help with. One of his teams is working on weapons that can be used against the Goal to repel attacks and break the siege. Another team is working on a powerful magical artifact that the humans will use in their own war, commissioned by the Emperor of the Caith Bruig, who is in Lankerfan, which is a big city in the middle of the map. So I'd like you guys to decide which projects you're hired for. What they would like to have is 2 people defending the walls, 1 person working on the weapons, and 1 person working on the artifact. So if you guys are able to provide that, you should decide who's doing what.
Clearly, the guy that can't use any weapon should be with the weapons.
Okay. All right, so we got Ichabod on the weapons.
Well, if you can't use a weapon, at least you can learn how to craft them, right? Useful skill.
Very useful. Okay, so we got that, and then who's on the artifact?
What?
I don't know much about
What do we have to do?
artifacts.
So it's the work for the artifact. It's a combination of magical enchanting and brute strength. So there's a smithing component. The whole thing's made of metal. You got to carve runes into it, and then it has to be enchanted with arcane magic. So.
Oh, none of us have arcane magic, but I can help with the strength part.
Okay, that was Odo, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Odo is working on the artifact.
I can be on wall patrol duty, given I'm not very bright, but I'm very good at sneaking around and keeping an eye on stuff.
So
Okay.
long as you're smart enough not to fall off, you're good.
Okay, so we
Rats are
have
very good climbers.
to copy your name down here. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, so Jarlvi, you're on the wall. You're defending the wall. And then I guess Zane, are you also willing to defend the wall?
I mean, it's the best thing he can do, shooting people from afar.
Okay, so of the 2 of you that are defending the wall, which one of you is unlucky enough to get first watch?
Probably me.
Did you both say me at the same time?
Well, I mean, respectable druid. Sneak thief. Guess who's getting the bad watch?
Okay, so it sounds like the Yarlv is getting the first watch. Does that make sense to you too, Zane?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
First watch.
Yarlv,
First watch.
you're up on the wall right now. As the sun goes down, the ghouls begin their nightly ritual. You see parties of. This is why everyone hates being on first watch. You see parties of foraging ghouls approaching the big, ugly stone head. And this is like a. It's not a little statue. It's like a huge obelisk that they drag around with them wherever they go in force. So they approach this big stone head, dragging piles of desert brush, sticks, and twigs. The ghoul priests at the center assemble it into a bonfire, directing the others. You can hear the shrill barking hoots of the ghouls as they haul their screaming victims, mostly humans, to the pyre, butchering them alive before eating parts of them and stoking the fire with their remains. If you've got the stomach to pay close attention to what's going on down there, you can make a discern realities if you'd like.
Yeah, I imagine turning into a rat once in a while has some certain psychological effects. Probably doesn't affect them as much as it probably should.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so if you'd like, you can do a discern realities to observe what's going on with them.
So that's okay. Do I just click that then?
Yeah, so click on the name of the move in the Roll20 sheet, and it should pop out everything and roll for you. There you go. Okay, so you got a 9, so that's the middle result, which means success with a cost or limited success. So you get to, for discern realities, what happens is you get a list of questions in the move description there. You pick one question that I have to answer truthfully, give you as much information as makes sense in the scene, and then you get a +1 bonus if you roll to act on the answer to that question. So pick your question and ask. This is sort of like a perception check. This is the Dungeon World equivalent of a perception check. And I won't always call for it as the DM. You can call for it anytime you want to assess the situation.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Let's see. The wall is the obvious answer, but I think I can give you a more substantive answer. You notice that there are these creatures that travel amongst the ghoul. It's like a skeletal specter that kind of floats through the air. It has no, like, the bottom half of its legs are like gone. And it's wreathed in this faint purple glow of necromancy. And it has like a quiver of barbed javelins on its back. And you see that they are it is speaking to one of the gold priests, and it kind of takes them aside, and they move out of the firelight away from the bonfire, and it's kind of hard for you to you're halfling, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you think do halflings have dark vision in the classical fantasy? I don't remember.
Typically they do.
Okay, yeah. So you can see pretty well by starlight, I'm going to say. So you can see that beyond the firelight, there's kind of a ridge, and they go down, and they disappear out of sight. So there's something like they're and just before they disappear out of sight, you see the soulless pointing at something. So you think there's something down there that they're talking about. And it's something that's like removed from the main body of the army. So whatever it is, it might be a good target. Okay. So what do you do? What do you do with that information?
I will memorize it mentally as many details as possible. And then when my watch is over, I will go over to wherever the watch captain is and inform him of this, because it seems like they might want to know this.
Very good. Okay. We're gonna switch over to let's see, Ichabod. So you're working down in the forge district. You're in the main forge, which is a huge, noisy, hot workshop. Sweat rolls down your body as you're there, like, pounding away, shaping metal and things like that. And there's the forge it's not a forge, it's a whole complex of forges. It's like a whole like town of little buildings that are all dedicated to forge work because these guys are dwarves and they're very serious about it. And your particular team is designing weapons for the siege that can be used against the goal army that's outside to either repel them when they attack or to try to break the siege and destroy them or get them to go away. So what kind of weapons exactly are you working on to accomplish that end?
Safe bet would probably be javelins.
Okay, like for people on the wall to throw, or like giant javelins?
Giant javelins.
Okay. Okay, so you're building like a huge javelin thrower, I'm imagining, like almost like a ballista, right?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. What is your role in the project? Because you're working with a whole bunch of dwarves that are working on this.
The duty of shaping the wood.
Okay. So I will let you roll. So you're going to roll Defy Danger, which is the default roll when you're just rolling a stat, and there's not a particular like move associated with it. So you're going to roll Defy Danger, either plus int or plus strength, to see how you do with shaping the wood. Very good. Okay, you did what. So, what is the process of shaping the wood like, and how does it, work out nicely? Like, what you give me like a descriptor for the weapon that you wouldn't normally think of for a giant javelin, something extra that it can do.
It has the ability to fire more than one javelin at a time, so I'm having to shape the reloading mechanism with it.
Very cool. Okay. So you're down in the forge, toiling away at that. The dwarves are all hammering away at the metal parts. And then let's see, who was the other person? The other wall duty person, Zane.
Me.
So you've just finished your watch. So you're leaving the wall and heading down back into the city of Myrgard. The true gates of Myrgard lie behind its walls in the basement of its largest citadel. With your shift ended, you wait before a set of mammoth stone doors that grind open an inch at a time on great clockwork mechanisms. Once you're inside the gates, you cross the first of a myriad of vast bridges over an endless chasm under a dizzyingly vaulted ceiling. As you reach the apex of the bridge, you can see the city's entire downtown area stretched out below you, sloping down deeper and deeper into the earth. The air is cool and dry, and there's a strong breeze blowing up from below that smells like burning metal. The heart of the city is a forge complex, a bank of thick metal columns, sprawling gantries, and low stone huts. A ruddy glow emanates from the center, spilling out into the city streets and illuminating the walls of 100 side tunnels that head down deeper underground. The ringing sound of dwarven hammers at the forge echoes all through the space. You can already, as you start to cross the bridge and descend, you start to feel the heat washing over you from the forges, making you sweat. You, at the end of your watch, you report to the watch commander, who's in the main barracks, which is just off of the central platform, Captain Steelgut Brightdigger, and he debriefs you on your watch, which was relatively uneventful. After your watch is over and after your debriefing is over, are you going to leave the defenders' quarters? Are you going home to wherever you're staying? Do you want to hang around and drink with the soldiers and play dice? What are you doing?
I mean,
What is
he's
your-
a loner by trade, and so he's not going to any of the party and mingling and stuff. But he is kind of concerned because of all these wars going to happen in the wall. So he's much more concerned about that. So he's gonna continue, even if they said that his job is done. He's gonna continue scouting with his owl, his
Okay.
animal companion.
So is the owl taking a shift then when you're off watch? Is that how it works, or are you taking extra long shifts? Are you sleeping on the wall? What does that look like?
We're basically doing double shift. Like I'm looking above the wall, on what with sorry, I'm looking on top of the wall, and the owl would look below and look at the situation, and I ordered it to call at me 2 times if there's something suspicious or important going on when it comes back to me.
Okay, so you hear it give the double hoot. What do you do?
I ordered to like point out where exactly is it getting that stress about.
But this, like I mentioned before, the ritual that of the human sacrifice goes on out there, with the army every night. Is he pointing that out, or is he have you taught him to ignore that?
The what?
The goals are doing a ritual of human sacrifice outside the walls, as they're besieging the city. Is the owl going to call that out, or have you chosen to tell him to ignore it?
If that's the danger that my animal companion is telling me, then I am we are going to be much more concerned about that, and if need be, I'll ask my animal companion to stealthily try to figure out what's much more going on. If it's a really really bad situation, and the specific keywords I'm about to ask it to call at me 2 times if the danger would destroy the wall or not.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you. You can, if you want, you can make a discern realities move and add the owl's cunning.
Okay.
And I'm actually
Wisdom.
yeah, and actually I'm gonna have you subtract its instinct because there's a savage ritual going on down below. So I don't know if that evens out or what that comes out to.
Rolling. 14.
Okay, so you get 3 questions from this list.
The question one is, what is about to happen?
Okay. So the owl indicates to you. I don't know how do you communicate with it actually? Like how do you understand what it tells you? Are you able to speak a common language with it? Does it hoot at you, or are there gestures, or how does that work?
I mean, by the years that I've been living with the owls, there's 2 ways we can communicate. One is with sticks and stones. We like put like a stone here to designate that this is a person and stuff, and like like tactics and stuff. And 2 is our common way is calling. Like I ask something and I say how many costs for that thing, and if costs that much, then that's the thing that's its meaning.
Okay. So let me see if I understood your system here. So I'm going to place stones on the board, and you can interpret this as you will. So he puts one stone. This one's right, like touching your foot here. He puts a stone here, and then he puts another stone, kind of halfway across the wall from you, over there, and then he's gonna pile a couple stones there actually. And then he puts another stone over here, and he kind of hopped up and down on this one, like this one's important. And then he picks it up with his talon, and he starts to kind of move it like around this way.
I asked Lena to call at me 2 times if they're trying to like do a ritual or like summoning something of some sorts. If she thinks that's what's happening.
It calls at you twice and then once.
So there's a ritual happening.
There's a ritual and something else. How the interpretation. And it's gonna fly. It takes off from the wall. It's gonna fly out again. And it flies up high into the sky enough that the goals won't probably notice it enough to like throw things at it. But you can track its progress from the wall. and you kind of see where it's at, and you see that it went over to that ridge where sorry I'm having really Yalvi, that ridge where Yalvi was looking a minute ago.
Let's call him
In
Rat. Everyone
the
just
rat
calls him
rat. Okay, sorry. Yeah, where Rat was looking a minute ago. There's something rising up over the ridge, and I'm gonna assume that you confer with Yalvi about it. Yes or no? Because he can see a little bit better in the dark than you can, I think.
Yeah. So being very rat-like individuals, seeing an owl come by, I'm like, yeah. But like, oh yeah, it's just that owl.
Okay, so the two of you guys, you put your heads together. He's peering at it, and you see there's a wooden structure coming up over that little ridge in the distance. And there's a pack of ghouls around it, pushing it. It's hard to tell what it is from here. It's kind of like low and squat. It's definitely not tall enough to be like a siege tower, but it looks like it might be a siege engine of some kind. It's like big and boxy and kind of low to the ground.
Ah, crap. Is that a battering ram?
It is, in fact, a battering ram.
Drill.
Oh. Hey, Zane, you wait here. I'm going to go run and tell the captain we're going to need some help.
All right.
Okay.
And you scurry off in human form to go inform the captain we're about to get attacked by a siege engine.
Okay, so you go running down, and you wind up getting stuck waiting for those really slow mechanical doors to open. We're going to go back to the other part of the forge where, let's see. Yardris, the head forge master, has one of his team scribing runes on a powerful magical artifact that was commissioned by the human emperor, whose name is Emperor Latreem. It's widely known that humans are practically extinct. 1,000 years ago, they had a powerful empire called the Caith Bruig, that controlled almost everything on the continent above ground and more besides. All that's left of the empire now is a single city called Lankerfan and a handful of outlying walled towns. A race of beastmen, which we talked about earlier, the Myrkridia, roam the lands freely and prey on the other living races. Odo, you know something. You're the one working on the artifact, correct? I just want to make sure I didn't get... Okay. Odo, you know something about the Myrkridia that most other people don't. Myrkridia are not native to this earth. They were summoned here from another dimension by Moagim, who is one of the Fallen Lords. He is also known as the Faceless Terror, and he is a figure that appears in this great, like, skeletal stag mask, and he's sort of like a barbarian warlord type, and he'll rush down a hill with thousands of these Myrkridia and attack, a town. You've seen it happen. But he, with his magic, this fallen lord has summoned the Myrkridia from another place, another world. They are not native to this plane. And the reason you know that is because you are working on an artifact to send them away from this world to a different plane. The artifact is called the Tain. It's a device you can hold in your hand. It's a little bigger than 2 fists, and it's shaped a little, kind of like 2 interlocking pyramids. One of them is like very regular, and the other one is like weird and ugly and kind of non-Euclidean. When you activate it, it's meant to open a portal to a prison dimension that can hold the Myrkridia indefinitely and prevent them from escaping. Let me show you what the Tain looks like. So you guys can see that, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is the artifact that you are working on, that you're smithing along with a team of dwarves, and one of whom is a journeyman enchanter. The artifact is almost finished. You've been tasked with figuring out the trigger mechanism that will actually activate the artifact and open the portal. So, you're not working on the enchantment, you're working on some kind of mechanism that the person holding the Tain will use to activate the enchantment. How does it work?
Oh my. I think Odo's like he's like, why did they put me on this job? This is too complicated. Oh, and I think he's just kind of jostling it a bit, and I think he's gonna ask the Whisper, "Hey Whisper, I need help with this." And I guess it's gonna be activated by it's handheld, so maybe it's just kind of the way that you hold it, combined with some type of mental state.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the way that you hold it, how do you have to hold it in order to activate it?
It has a weird thing. I guess you have to palm it, like you fit one of the triangles on your palm, and you have to put the right amount of fingers on each of the different sides. So it has to be 2, 2, 1. Like your thumb on one side and 2 of the fingers on each of the triangles. So you need to have a big hand. But Odo's the size of Andre the Giant, so he has a big hand.
Very cool. All right. And what frame of mind do you have to be in to activate it?
What is this other dimension like? Is it a scary dimension or is it a neutral dimension? That portal to, because I think it would line up with that. Like if it's this horrible hell place, then maybe you have to be angry at them to cast them.
I'm gonna say you can spout lore if you want to learn about it. That was one of your the basic moves.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the dwarves haven't discussed it at all with you. They're very secretive, in fact, about the enchantment. You know that it's a place that's scary, but they won't really tell you what's there. And you're honestly, you get the feeling that the guy who's working on the enchantment isn't entirely sure either.
I whisper, this doesn't seem very prudent. So I guess he's gonna figure it's anger because they're horrible and you want to cast them out, and the anger will. So that's his guess. That's Odo's guess.
Okay. Whisper is studying the artifact, and she kind of is floating around it, and she's like trying to fit her spectral, insubstantial fingers to the activation points. Do her fingers activate it or no? Obviously, she's not in an angry frame of mind, so it wouldn't activate. But is it something that she could touch, or is it only the corporeal person that can touch it?
I think it has to be corporeal.
Okay, very good. So she she does this gesture, and then she kind of like, you start to do the gesture, and she sort of like this way. And she kind of directs you like you're holding the artifact the wrong way. You were pointing it at your own chest while you were activating it. So you kind of want to hold it the other way.
Okay. Thanks, Whisper.
Okay, roll me an intelligence or wisdom to try to put together this mechanism. This would be defy danger.
Oh, defy danger.
That's fine. That works. Okay, so you get a so you're having some trouble with the activation. I'm going to say you finish the activation. You finish setting up the trigger mechanism. When you're done, Grumrick Gembeard, who is the foreman of the team, is inspecting your work. He looks over and he says, oh, that's going to get jammed. And he starts making a few corrections, and he kind of like slots something into place. He's like, that's better. Looks like we're all done then. And then he walks out. He climbs up a gantry to like the center of the Forge District, kind of off on the east side of the Forge District, in one of the satellite forges, because they didn't want to enchant the entire main forge section, but they've got warding runes around this particular forge to protect it from blasts and arcane energies and things like that. So he goes out of the warded area. He climbs up onto the main gantry in the center to talk to Forge Master Yardris. The Forge Master, who's wearing a suspiciously clean-looking blacksmith's apron, is bellowing down at a team of laborers who are operating a huge metal winch as they lower red-hot giant javelin cores into a cooling vat. Forge Master pauses to talk to Gembeard. His irritated expression quickly turns to excitement, and they both climb down from the gantry, pass through the wards into the artifact work area, and come over to stand by your workbench. Yardris comes up to you, his eyes gleaming, excited, and he says, "Ready for the first test?"
I think you should probably double check it. Because I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I mean, I did my best, but yeah.
Gembeard takes it again, and he kind of, oh, you got this on backwards, and it takes him another couple minutes. He gets it sorted out, so it will activate. He places it on the locust platform on the east side of the room, which is kind of like a big pedestal where it sits at about chest height. It's like a big stone pedestal. And then the three of you guys line up on the west side of the room along with Journeyman Blackshoulder, who's the guy working on the enchantment. And he looks really nervous, but Gembeard is looking over to you, Odo, and says, what is the activation? How do I turn it on?
Oh, you just gotta hold it like this and put the 2 fingers there, and then you gotta think, like, you gotta get angry, like you hate those Myrkridians, and you want to throw them into the garbage, right?
Gembeard says, "Angry, huh? Well, look, he starts to like bluster, and he's like, "Well, you did a terrible job," but he's not able to work up the anger, so he like Jarvis is finally like, after watching this for a minute, is like, "Give it to me," and he seizes it, and it instantly activates when he puts his fingers on the thing. As the Tain is activated, a purple glow kind of fills the room. It doesn't emanate from the team. It kind of seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. There's this blue-black halo that surrounds the Tain and lifts it up into the air, and it begins to spin. And there's a low whistling that sort of develops into a howling sound. Let's see, who was just coming down the ramp? It was Rat. You were coming inside the walls to talk to the watch captain, right?
To warn him about the siege engine. Yes.
Okay, so you just got through the gate. You're walking down the main ramp, like I described a minute ago for Zane, and you see a strange flash of light from the direction of the forges. The whole ceiling. Remember this is an enormous like vaulted cavern that covers the entire city. The whole ceiling of this cavern is painted with this spiraling blue-black pattern, and the glow, it kind of just flashes into existence, and then it starts to get brighter and brighter. And after a couple seconds, there's a thump, and there's a sound so loud that it carries all the way up to where you're at from the forge, and it vibrates the platform slightly under your feet. This huge, thick, sturdy stone platform, and you hear shouts and screams from the direction of the forge. What do you do?
Well, I was probably knocked down from the sheer shock and impact of it, so I shook my head, get up. Well, I would investigate that, but more important things to do. Scurry. To go talk to the captain, who's probably come out of his office at this point after what just happened.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, so you're running down to talk to Brightblade. We have Zane. You're the one still up on the wall, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Zane, you see them. They're rolling this battering ram into position, and the watch, like sergeant who's on duty, starts shouting orders at the dwarves, and they're like readying. They've got these things that are like Molotov cocktails, basically like grenades that they're readying to throw down from the parapets of the tower onto this siege engine. What are you doing?
Assuming I know as well, since I didn't get the other distinct realities, but I'm assuming the one that's leading the pack is the one that's, the one that Lena jumped over. So I'm trying to search for that guy amongst the rubble to try to snipe him out.
Okay, you talking about the floating purple guy?
Mm-hmm. Try to find him amongst the,
Okay. Yeah, give me. I think you. One of you guys had rolled discern realities and got 3. I think that was you, Zane. So you have 2 more questions. You can ask those 2 questions from the previous roll if you'd like.
Oh yeah. The one that I'm saying about is from my 3 discern realities. The other 2, can I just chalk it up to know where or who is the one leading the ritual, and the one that's most likely is the leader of this whole flock of army?
Okay, yeah. So that's so there's a cadre of half a dozen gold priests that are leading the ritual. And you've seen this ritual happen every night. It doesn't seem to have any particular magical effect as far as you can tell. It's just, a horrible thing that they do in worship of their dark god. But as they're proceeding with the ritual, this thing is rolling forward. And you see that there are a group of those purple floating guys following behind that battering ram structure. And as you're looking around, you actually see them up on the mountain coming from behind the curtain wall, because the fortress is built. It's like a semicircle that covers this like huge mountain pass, and there's like steep cliffs on either side. Somehow these like levitating things have gotten up on top of the cliffs, and you see them readying to throw javelins down on the dwarven defenders. What do you do?
I'm seeing that, I am concerned as hell. Can I snipe those guys to
Yes.
stop what they're doing?
So that would be a volley move. Go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna say that the area immediately next to you, they're on both sides of the wall, but I'm gonna say you're on the north side of the wall, which is like the right side as you're looking outward towards the enemy. And I'm gonna say that there's like 4 of them above you on that side.
Okay.
Go ahead and do your volley. Okay. So deal your damage. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll your class damage die. You can just click on it in your sheet, and it'll roll the damage. And then you choose one of those 3 options from the move description.
Oh wait, that's dexterity. Wait, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you deal 4 damage to one of the soulless, and you get to choose one of those 3 options.
Okay, wait. You know what? I'm gonna reduce my ammo by 1.
Okay, so mark that off on your sheet. You've used up 1 ammo. Ammo is kind of abstract. It's not like the number of arrows that you have. It's kind of like bundles of arrows. Think of it that way. So you're playing. You're in an action movie. You're shooting arrows and arrows and arrows. And at a certain point, at a dramatically appropriate moment late in the movie, you run out. Right. So that's what the ammo represents. It's kind of like more like a pacing than it is like counting the individual arrows. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so you fire a bunch of arrows. You hit one of them. Let's see if it kills it. So you hit it, and the arrow kind of damages it, but it also passes through it. You see it breaks one of the skeleton thing's ribs, but it doesn't seem to slow it down too much. And a volley of javelins comes flying, of these barbed javelins comes flying down from the mountainside. And one of I'm going to say 2 of them are arcing towards the nearest of the dwarven defenders on the north side of the wall. One of them is arcing at the watch sergeant, and one of them is arcing at you. What do you do?
Can I try to? No, Lena's much more concerned about my safety, so I'm guessing she's trying to defend me from the blow, trying to guide the javelin hurling towards me away from me.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna call it a defy danger wisdom, because it's like your owl's dexterity. Your owl doesn't have its own moves that it makes, so it uses your moves. So you're gonna defy danger wisdom, and then you're gonna add its cunning to the roll.
9.
Okay. You stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The GM will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or an ugly choice. I'm gonna say, so the owl grabs it. It kind of gets it in his claws and deflects it enough that you could dodge it. But if you do dodge it, it's gonna hit the guy behind you in the head. What do you do?
Lena's not, since it's Lena's guiding the javelin. She doesn't care. She's more concerned of her brother.
No, but it's no, so you have Zane have the opportunity to step out of the way. But if you do, it's going to kill the guy behind you. Are you going to try to intercept it or take the hit for him, or are you going to let him die?
Well, they aren't an animal, but that would reduce. Okay, you know what? Contrary to my beliefs, he is going to dodge.
Okay, so you step aside. The javelin gets the dwarf behind you. That guy was reaching up to light one of the grenades to throw on the guys down at the berserk at the what's it called, the battering ram. One of them, he was lighting a grenade to throw down to the battering ram. The grenade clatters down onto the wall next to you. We are going to go back to let's see. We did Zane, we did Rat for a second. Let's do Ichabod. Let's see, where do we leave you?
I was
You were
still
just
forming things.
right. You're designing the weapons. You're very happy with this javelin thrower that you've constructed. You know, it's already put together. It comes up. It's ready to go up to the wall, and there's this explosion that rocks the whole platform and shakes everything. It's like an earthquake. And there's you see that the on the other side of the forge, so you're at like the master forge, which is like this big huge room that has like bridges going to other surrounding structures. The other structure to the east of you, the blast doors from that structure slam closed as something goes off inside there, and you hear screaming. What do you do?
For once, it wasn't my fault. I'm gonna be hiding behind the nearest chair.
Okay. You grab one of the stools from the workbench, and you're using it as a shield, I guess.
Very much so.
Okay, very good. So I'm gonna say, let's hop back to Odo and see what happens, and then we'll adjust your situation accordingly. So Odo, you were in the room when this all happens. So there's this rent that forms in the air in front of the Tain, and it's sort of like it's like a jagged slash that goes from the floor to the ceiling of the space that you're in, the arcane forge, and there's this kind of exchange where there's like a huge rush of cold air that comes in as this rift opens, and there's this horrible smell that comes with it, and there's this like the force of the wind, the force of this, it's like so instantaneous is the change in air pressure that there's this huge concussive force, and there's this great glow that's shining out everywhere, and it slams you hear the doors slam shut behind you, and things, these kind of inky, dark, hairy, many-legged things start to crawl out of the rift and fill the room. What do you do?
Close it. Who's holding the Tain? The dwarf. The same dwarf that activated it.
So it was Yardris, yeah, the head, the forge master.
So I'm yelling to close it as I'm running up with I'm taking my mace out. I guess I guess I have all my gear with me. So I'm gonna grab my mace, my shield, and I'm running up to these things. Hey, close it.
Okay. So one of
these coming out.
So one of these big old spidery creatures comes up and scurries towards you and lunges at you and tries to grab your face with its enormous like spiked mandibles. What do you do?
I'm gonna batter the mandibles away with my shield.
Okay, so are you trying to get rid of it, or are you trying to damage it? Which is more important?
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to. I thought it was like I was being under attack, so I was trying to defend. But after I bash it away, I'm gonna smack it on the head with my.
Okay, so you can do a defend first. Okay, so give me do the defend move. And if I haven't said it before, I'll suggest moves to you guys based on what you're describing, but it's ultimately up to you guys what moves you want to make. It's not up to me. So just putting that out there. So if you want to defend, go ahead and defend.
I defy danger with strength.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that too. Okay. So so you're just trying to avoid the damage though. You're not using the defend move, right?
I wanted to then attack it. So
okay.
I guess I could just use that for hack and slash. I wanted to I thought it was under attack, so I wanted to defend and then attack it.
Okay. Yeah, so so the defend move is like for mitigating incoming damage. So you can do the defend first to mitigate incoming damage, or you can just try to fight it as it's fighting you, and you can both hurt each other, potentially depending on how you roll. What's your strategy
so
here?
I can do both.
Yeah.
Defend and fight. Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, there's no like initiative. It's all according to what makes sense in the story. So you can quickly defend and then do an attack. It's not like separate turns.
Okay, I failed defending.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you didn't get any holds. So this thing leaps on you. I'm gonna say it. So you got this huge shield in front of you. So the shield protects you from biting. Protects you from having your face like immediately gouged out. But this thing's on top of you now. It kind of knocks you down and bears you down to the floor. And you're struggling underneath it, and you see venom dripping from its jaws as it tries to get it. It's like scrabbling around the shield, trying to get at your neck. And it's going to get you with one of the hooks on its legs, I'm going to say. Let me go ahead and deal damage for that. Okay, so you're going to take 7 damage as it scratches you with its legs as it's trying to get its jaws onto you.
I pass my shield.
No. So you reduce the damage. The damage is reduced by your armor. So
Okay.
A good question, but no, not in this case.
Okay, I'm gonna try and sweep its legs out with my mace and get a better swinging angle to clunk it in its thorax with my mace.
All right, so go ahead and make a move. You want to hack and slash?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can deal your damage. So go ahead and roll your class damage. Okay. So
I have +1. I took the longsword stats and just say it's flavored as a mace.
That's fine.
Okay.
So
+1, so 2 damage.
Okay, so you do 2 damage. You have the option to do an extra 1d6 damage, but if you do, that it's going to be able to hit you again. You want to do the extra damage, or you want to stay?
No.
Okay.
I'll just
all right. So
regain my foot.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to say you regain your foot. So you hit it. You kind of stun it for a split second. You knock it off. It's definitely not slowed down that much, but you get enough space that you're able to like scramble to your feet, and you're kind of up against a workbench with your back to it. And there's more of these things coming out of the portal. Let's see. So we did Odo. We did okay. So Ichabod, you're watching from the other side of your shield, waiting for explosion, for shrapnel to come flying. Nothing comes flying at you, but you hear people shouts and screams coming from the other side of the blast door, and you hear something that like this guttural, like sort of vibrating, snarling sound, like some kind of creature's in there. What do you do?
Run with pure abandonment of self-preservation towards the noise.
Okay, very good. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna have to do is force the blast doors open against the air pressure differential. So that's going to be a defy danger strength, unless you have some other clever way to do it other than brute force.
Brute force is all he knows.
Okay. All right, so you run forward, you slam the blast doors open, and the room is filled with these creatures. One of them has immediately latched onto Yardrez, and you see him like fumbling with this weird triangular thing in one hand, and as he moves it, there's this like flickering blue-black glow that kind of moves wildly around the room in tandem with the motion of his hand as he's trying to like fight off one of these spider things that's biting him with his other hand. You see that there's another dwarf in the room who's picked up a smith's hammer and is like laying into these spider things and just like splits one of them open, gets scratched by another one, and he's like fighting wildly for his life. And then there's this guy in like it's another dwarf who's in sort of these gray arcane robes, who's kind of just standing there looking dumbfounded and horrified and like cowering. What do you do?
I'm gonna yell at the cowering one.
Okay. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna say that's a parlay, if you agree.
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't be.
Okay, so what are you offering him if he does what you want, which is fight these things.
He survives.
Okay, that's a pretty good offer. Go ahead and roll your parlay. Okay, they ask you for something and do it if you make them a promise, but they need concrete assurance of your promise right now. What promise? Let's see. I guess it's up to me. I say, he says he backs up. He starts backpedaling towards you, and he's like, don't let them grab me. Don't let them get to me. And he's like trying to hide behind your shield. Are you gonna let him hide behind your shield and kind of forfeit the protection for the moment?
Yeah, I'll let him do that.
Okay, so you do that, and he starts casting some kind of magic. He's not an expert, like he's not a wizard, but he's like trying to form a ball of flame in the palm of his hand. He's kind of struggling with the like stuttering over the runes that he's supposed to speak. And it kind of starts to form and then flickers out and then starts to form again. He's working on it. Let's go back to let's see. We had Odo, we had Ichabod. So Rat, you were on your way down to report to the watch captain. Are you still running for the barracks?
I mean, yeah, he was given one job, that being
Okay.
watch the wall. If something weird happens, get back here and tell me because it might be important.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're going to try to get there as quickly as you can. So give me some kind of move to try to get there faster.
Okay, that would be. What would that be?
I would say maybe Defy Danger Con or Dex if you want to like take a shortcut, across the edge of one of the platforms or something like that.
Yeah. What was Defy Danger here? Could I attempt to defy danger by like pushing myself, like probably more than I should to sprint there, so using con.
Okay. So I'll make you a deal. I'll give you. I will say that you can get there faster without a roll, but I'm going to give you -1 to some roll later. Or you can roll for it. You can make a Defy Danger. Or you can just go it as fast as you're practically able to manage and not worry about what's going on around you.
How badly do you want to stub your toe?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just like push myself and take the -1 later.
Okay, very good. You get -1 forward to your next thing that requires like great physical exertion. Okay, so you rush to Captain Brightsteel's office, and I'm going to say that there's alarms going off at the forge at this point as the other dwarves are realizing what's happening, and the forge has its own barracks because it's holy to the dwarves, and it's the thing that's sacred that they have to defend. So there's defenders pouring out of the forge district barracks, and Brightblade is kind of headed that way to see what's going on, and you intercept him on one of the bridges as he's getting onto the bridge. And what do you tell him?
Captain, large siege engines at front gate. Spirits everywhere. Need help.
What kind of siege engines? How many? What kind of spirits did you say?
Some floating spectral thingy, apparently helping the Gaul. I don't know. Point is, there's a lot of them. There's one big siege engine, and that's all I know.
He says, "All right, go head up to the wall. They're going to need all the help they can get. Actually, no, I take that back. Head to the gatehouse. If they're going to try to get in, what type of siege engine did you say it was?
Low to the ground, very box-like, reinforced. I think it was made of wood. Kind of hard to tell in the dark.
Okay, head to the gatehouse. You're gonna reinforce the defenders at the gate. We'll take care of things here. He claps you on the shoulder and he says, "Go."
On it, and I just run away.
Okay, so you you start running back to the gatehouse. You get to the gatehouse just in time to hear the first boom as the battering ram starts pounding on the door. And the gatehouse, it's set up in a way where it's very defensible. The dwarves are excellent at fortress construction, so the doors are super sturdy. It's going to take them a while to get through it. And there's this kind of nervous tension of like waiting for something to happen. There is a sort of middle courtyard in between two gates that you can get. There's like arrow slits around the outside of the courtyard, and there's like two tiers, so you can go to the lower tier or the upper tier and like shoot down from the arrow slits if you want to. And there's also a cadre of dwarven defenders that are waiting on the other side of the inner gate to try to repel the attackers if they get through the outer wall and past the arrow slits. There's also some of the dwarven defenders are up on the wall throwing grenades. What are you doing for the defense? What are you getting into?
I'm going to scurry up to the walls, and I imagine there's probably a bunch of extra like bins full of fire grenades and stuff that they're chucking, and just start
Absolutely, yep.
chuck fire grenades down, try and aiming specifically at any one that looks like important down there.
Okay, so we're gonna I'm gonna say so there's a group of ghoul that are operating the battering ram that are kind of underneath it. There's another group of ghoul that are kind of hiding behind the structure, and then there's the soulless who are sort of directing that group in the back. You want to go for the soulless?
Yeah, the ghost thingies.
So give me a volley.
Volley.
Okay, go ahead and deal your class damage, and this is going to be an area effect because you're throwing a grenade.
My class damage is a D8. So.
Okay, all right. So you did 4 damage. There's this kind of puff of purple smoke, and there's the soulless gets stunned for a moment. There's 2 of them in the back there. They both get hit by the grenade, and they both you see this kind of purple. The necromancy kind of puffs off of them, and there's like bits of bone that come off as the concussive force of the grenade goes off in front of them. It doesn't slow down the. Oh, sorry. You get to choose one of those 3 options. Which option are you going to choose? I'm going to say the barrel of grenades has 3 ammo for purposes of this scene.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll just say I use up one of the spare grenade bundles in doing this, so I'm down to 2 shots.
Okay, very good. So they hammer on the door again as you hit the soulless. They throw their javelins back at you, but you're so they hammer on the door. They continue to hammer on the door as you hit the soulless. They both lift these wicked barbed looking javelins to throw at you, but it's easy enough for you to you're like throwing out of an arrow slit. Basically, it's easy enough for you to just duck back and not get hit. So I'm not even going to make you roll for it. So, you hear the javelins kind of clatter quietly against the outside of the wall, in contrast to all the noise and yelling and everything that's going on right now. Zane, you're up on the wall. There's a grenade up on the wall with you. What do you do?
I'm a chuck it, since that's the only logical conclusion.
I think that's a defy danger dexterity, if you agree. Or you can make it, I guess you could even make it a volley.
I mean, I am a child of the wilds, but I know for sure that if it's sticking and it has a hiss, it's danger.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really. It's not clockwork. It's just got a big long fuse that's burning down very quickly.
Either way, it's still dangerous.
Yep.
What can I do? Defy danger or volley?
Yeah.
For defy danger, what stats can I choose for that?
So that would be, I'm going to say it's dexterity, if that makes sense to you, because you're trying to scrabble to quickly pick this thing up and get it out of your hands.
So just dexterity. Okay. Instead, I would try to volley it towards the where Rat said the siege engine was
Okay.
below.
Oh, real quick, because I thought about it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. But I forgot to mention this before, so I apologize. But anytime you roll a 6 or less in a roll, you should mark an experience point on your character. I think I sort of vaguely alluded to that at the beginning, and I didn't explicitly state it. So, if you guys if you know that you've rolled a failure previously, which
So
is this,
gotten any of them.
yeah, if it's 6, if you got a 6 or less result on one of your rolls, make sure you mark an experience point each time that happens.
Okay.
Odo
Okay.
has 2, it looks like.
I got
Okay.
3.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So Zane, you're going to do a volley. Go ahead and deal your damage. And what are you? I guess you're not really aiming at anything particular, right? You're probably just going to hit the goals that are down there.
Siege engine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you hit the siege engine. You take a chunk out of the roof with the explosive. You see, there's like, it's kind of like not super well made. It's like there's a wooden frame underneath, and there's like wooden framing, but there's like hasty mud bricks kind of like slapped onto the outside of it. It's almost like it's like a little hut with wheels that's made out of mud brick with wooden beams. You knock a chunk of the brick off, and take a piece out of it basically, with the grenade. Let's see. So Odo, you're backed up against a workbench. 3 of these things are coming at you now. What do you do? You also see that Ichabod has charged into the room and is trying to help the journeyman, whose fault you think this whole situation probably is, although it might be your fault. You're not entirely sure. Maybe.
Is that journeyman holding the Tain? Or is it
No. So the guy holding the Tain, you look over to the Tain and you see that it's kind of hard to, like, well, no, I'm gonna say you can tell. You see Jardres is like getting bitten by one of these spiders, and he's trying to like figure out how to activate the Tain clumsily with one hand as this thing is like eating his face off.
Do these things are just like spiders? They showed no sign of intelligence, right?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hey, whisper, help me get his attention, and I'm gonna try and I'm just gonna try and yell, hoping that whisper can magically help me.
Okay.
Taunt these. So I'm gonna use my taunt ability that I took from the barbarian. When you cry out a challenge to your enemies, roll plus con. So I'm
Whisper rises into the air and glows and shouts, "Hey, listen!" Go ahead, roll your do your taunt. Okay. Yeah. So you're the most obvious. Okay, you've got a lot more spider friends now. So you've at least temporarily saved Yardras. Okay. Is that with they ignore your companions? Okay. So Yardras starts the thing closing the gate, like he's rattled, so it's taken a minute to get him into the right mental state. But he's got his fingers on the right spots now, and he's like holding the Tain steady. They are, let's see, Odo, they surround you. One of them is kind of like leaping at your face, and another one is like grabbing at your legs, trying to trip you up and pull you. What do you do?
I'm just trying to create space between me, so I'm bashing away. I'm trying to jump out of the way if they've already got their legs on me. I'm just trying to buy time for Tharbdus to close the thing, so I'm just pushing them away.
I think a defend makes sense here because you're trying to basically protect this spot against them incurring on your space.
Yeah. So
okay.
So I'm gonna I'll have the damage I take, and if I get near Tharbdus, I would redirect attacks on him to me.
Okay. So one of them is attacking to try to knock you down and drag you. I'm gonna say you can spend a hold to avoid being dragged. I feel like that's a good half effect.
That's fun.
Okay. And another one's gonna try to deal damage and poison you. So it's gonna like try to bite you through your armor.
I'll have that damage.
Okay. So let me roll its damage. Let's see. Okay, so you take no damage, your armor. Actually, I'm not going to make you spend a hold for that because your armor deflected it anyway. So you've still got 2 holds. You've made yourself a little bit of space. So you've got enough room to swing your mace. Do you want to swing your mace?
What is Thardus doing?
Sure.
Pause it! Pause it or I'll kill you!
Yeah, I think that's a parlay.
Close it or I'll kill you. Oh, wait, I'm dead. I'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah. Do you want to make a parlay?
Okay, the threat of death is what's
Okay. You offer...
anger. I think you can kill him, but
okay, I would... Okay, so he needs concrete assurance that you're going to kill him right now if he doesn't do it. What do you do?
I throw my mace at him.
Okay. So that's fantastic. Okay, deal your damage.
Oh, can I just throw it by him? I don't want to actually hit him. I just want it to feel.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, you could. You throw it. You hit you hit the pedestal in front of him with the mace. And he's shocked for a second, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then as he's like yelling at you because you're trying to hurt him, the Tain activates because he's angry now, and the portal starts to close.
The things, they don't get sucked in?
No, they do not. They're actually, you see them. They're actually, I'm gonna say there's like a dozen of them in the room still. I'm gonna say 8 of them are swarming at Ichabod, trying to get past him and out of the room, and maybe also hurt him. Ichabod, what are you trying to do?
I am swatting all bugs that come near me.
Okay, is that a hack and slash?
Not so much as a fist can do, but yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, deal your damage.
For the damage.
So it's your class damage, which would be in the top center of your sheet on the first page, I think. Just click on that die and it should roll it for you.
It's below your hit points.
If you haven't filled it out, you can get it from the PDF.
There it goes.
There you go. Okay. You deal 10 damage, so you actually kill... you kill one of them, and you take 2 of the legs off of a second one with a single stroke of your... I guess you're using your fist, right? So how can you kill one and wound another using just your fist? What exactly are you doing to them?
I have an image in my mind, if you don't mind this working. He gets so mad, he picks up one spider, beats another spider to death, picks up the spider he just beat to death, and then beats another spider with it, taking off 2 of its legs.
All right, that sounds good to me. Does that sound good to you, Ichabod?
Yeah, that works.
All right, fantastic. So you're using a spider as a weapon. So they get to make their attacks against you, though. So you kill one of them. You're hurting the other one. I'm gonna say 2 of the other ones, as they're rushing past, are gonna bite you. So the way that works is I'm gonna roll their damage once and then add 1 because you got a second opponent hitting you. So you're gonna take 7 damage minus your armor. How much damage are you actually taking?
Well, minus my armor, that would be 5.
Okay. And you are going to be poisoned, potentially. So roll Defy Danger plus Constitution to resist poison. This is kind of like a saving throw. Okay. Yeah. So you tough it out. You feel the poison like burning through your veins, and it's not like, it's sort of like your arm starts to kind of turn purple and it feels stiff and it's hard to move, but you're like powering through, moving anyway. And 4 of them get past you and out the door. And they kind of climb down over there's like a bridge over this huge chasm that sort of, like it's just like big empty void underneath, and they climb down like around the bridge and disappear out of view. Let's see. That was so we did Ichabod. I just did Zane, so we're back to Rat. Rat, you reported to the watch captain. He's put you back on the Oh no, sorry, I skipped Zane actually. Zane, so the dwarf behind you got killed. One of the other ones got hit by the soulless javelin, and you see the javelin. It sticks in his shoulder, and it doesn't look like it should do that much damage because it's kind of like a grazing flesh wound. Like it almost like comes out right away. It kind of takes a little chunk of flesh, but it's not like doesn't look like a lethal wound. But the dwarf like screams and starts writhing on the ground. What do you do?
This is when I also chuck the grenade, right? And I see that the roof is out of the siege machine. Okay.
Yeah, so you're checking. So you hit the soulless, you damage them, but didn't destroy either of them. And then there's the ones that are that are above you that are throwing down at you, and your buddies on the wall. You see the dwarves are also throwing the remaining dwarves that are still standing are also throwing grenades down at the siege engine, and they're taking chunks out of the roof of it. And there's like a section of roof that's exposed, and you can see the gang of ghouls underneath the hut structure that are operating the battering ram as it swings back and forth on these big hinges. And then there's also the soulless is throwing another spear at you from above. What do you do?
Shoot, there's 3 things I want to do, but okay.
Yeah, pick which one you want to do first.
First of all, well, the one that I hit earlier with my bow, how is he looking?
He looks like he's slowed a little bit, but he's not destroyed.
Okay.
You definitely did some damage. Like he's not they're not ghosts. You can hurt them with arrows.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish him off. I would call back my animal companion and say, "Let's get him." And I would volley him and add Lena to my attack.
Okay, very good. You're gonna roll your volley, and then I think if the animal companion adds its ferocity to your damage, if I remember correctly.
When you attack the same target and add its ferocity to your damage, not the attack.
Yep. Okay. So go ahead and roll your volley. Okay. Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna say that you go to like knock another arrow, you lift it, and the javelin catches you. Where does it hit you? I'll let you decide.
Probably on my shoulder, the one that's holding the bow.
Okay, so it's both hands. So are you right? Is your character shoot right-handed or left-handed?
He holds the bow with his right hand and shoots with his left hand. So
okay,
he's
so that's
gonna
shooting left-handed then.
The right.
Okay. Okay. So you get hit in the right shoulder. You're gonna take 2 damage minus your armor. What's your armor?
1. So I take 1.
Okay, well, you take 1 damage, and it turns out the javelins are also poisoned. So you're gonna roll Defy Danger Con. Okay. You are sorry. It actually should be wisdom. I think your wisdom is higher than your con, actually, right? I made a mistake.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so this is yeah, so you avoid you shake off the poison. It's the poison is not so much like killing you as it just lights up your whole nervous system with excruciating pain. It's just like it's incapacitating just by the sheer like volume of sensation that it gives you. But you are able to act through it and continue fighting. But you missed your volley. Go ahead and give me another volley if you want to shoot again.
You know what? Let's do it.
Okay.
Or does shouting something not do my volley? Like shouting something towards the other dwarves?
I'm gonna say, yeah, I mean, you can. What do you want to shout?
Like the javelins are coated with poisons in some sort, and can I still shoot?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, I shout that, and I shoot the guy with Lena assisting.
Okay. Oh no!
Dang, at least there's 2 XP.
Yeah, you get some experience for that. You're learning. You're getting better with the bow. or something at least. You the dwarves, you shout for them to get down, and you keep firing arrows. It's really like it's a really high angle shot at a distance, and it's really difficult to get the arrows to be accurate when you're shooting that high, because you kind of have to like arc it up, your arrows miss the target. As you're shouting the dwarves all like scatter and kind of like they're trying to take cover in one of the gatehouse structures. So they're basically like avoiding getting hit by the soulless from that side, but that leaves you as the only like available easy target for the soulless. So 2 more javelins are going to come flying at you. What do you do?
I would try to dodge them as best I could.
Okay, so I'll say that's its high danger dex.
Yeah, if my animal companion can help me as well, then yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say yeah. You can add its cunning because it's trying to help deflect arrows or javelins.
Then.
Okay. Set up to do threat doesn't come to bear. Okay, yeah. So you dodge the javelins, and you're lining up another shot. I'm assuming, yeah. Okay, well, you think about that for a minute. We're gonna go to Rat. So Rat, there is.
Do I see or hear this complete clusterfuck going on over there?
So you actually can't see where Zane is at because you're like inside the wall in one of the positions to defend the gate. And he's like on top of the wall, so he's actually above you on the next floor.
Oh, so I have no idea. Got it.
Yeah, so you hear him. I don't know, Zane. Do you like scream or shout when you get hit by javelins? You hear him shouting for sure.
The first javelin I hit, he's gonna shout some sort of profanity that people might not understand, and the other thing that he's shouting is this land, this javelins is stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, so you hear him shout the
2 things you can hear.
Yeah, so you hear him
shouting.
You hear him shout the javelin is poisoned.
There's a lot of noise going on
down in the gatehouse. They rock back the thing. You can see a couple of the ghouls are kind of scrambling. They start to scramble to get away from the spot where the hole is broken in the roof of the battering ram thing. And one of the soulless like kind of jabs at the ghoul with a spear and gets it back to its spot, and they grab and lift the battering ram and they go to swing it again. What do you do? And you can hear the gate creaking as it's starting to give.
I point wildly at specifically the hole in the roof and yell to the other guards to focus all the grenades on that spot.
Okay.
And then I want to chuck one of my 2 remaining grenade bundles. Imagine these things are like those like World War I anti-tank things, which were ridiculous.
Just yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Those into the hole.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll. That's a volley. I'm gonna say. Wait, okay. if you agree.
That's reasonable. Yeah. Fucking tabs open here. Volley. Heat.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm gonna say you chuck the grenade. Oh, actually, deal your damage and choose one of the 3 options. Go ahead and roll damage first.
Yep, working on
it. Okay. And which option are you picking here?
Well, I only have 1 grenade left now.
Okay, very good. All right, so the blast goes off inside the shelter, and you see one of them immediately get like eviscerated and turned into like they joined the Red Mist Society because the blast is like going off in an enclosed space. And a couple, you can hear screams from other ones inside that are wounded. You can't see them clearly from your position, but you know that there's others inside that are hurt. You see the soulless though; it's speaking in this kind of barking tongue that the ghouls speak in, and it's gesturing. And you see that the group of ghouls that were behind the structure like move in to take the place of the ones that were inside. And another grenade comes down and lands inside the hole in the structure. But before that grenade goes off, they swing the battering ram forward again, and the gates splinter. And there is like a 3-foot wide gap as one of the doors is like pushed ajar, and kind of like the hinges are extremely sturdy, so it's actually the hinges are intact, but the door kind of splinters and twists away from the hinge. And there's enough of a gap that ghouls could start pouring through. We are going to go back to let's see. We did Zane. We did Rat. We did. I'm gonna go to Dram. Dram, either. Oh, sounds like he's AFK. So that's okay.
No, I'm
okay.
Here. No, I'm here. I just had to walk over to the.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say. So you guys are outside. The rest of the party is outside of the city of Myrgard. You were scoping out the siege, trying to figure out how you're going to get in and get this artifact that the Emperor's commissioned. You see that there's like a battle that's being joined. There's the ghouls have rolled a battering ram up to the gatehouse, and it looks like they've just managed to breach a hole in the gate. And the ghouls, this huge army of ghouls is surging towards the gate, trying to get into the fortress. And you see people fighting up on the wall, all that kind of stuff. And did you have a bond with Zane?
Yeah, he is an owl and is familiar with the wilds. That's what.
Okay. So you it's hard to make out individual like people's faces and stuff at this distance, but you recognize them immediately because of the owl, because you see it fighting, like deflecting javelins up on the wall. You're, I don't know, a ways away, watching this from a distance. What do you want to do?
I say, oh shit! I turn to is Jack with me?
Yeah.
I turn to Jack and I say, well, we can't have that happening. We're gonna have to help you, eh?
No problem.
So you guys gonna charge the army? What's the approach here?
Oh yeah, from behind.
From behind.
Oh boy.
right up the siege machine for me.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I have him grab my thing and I say, we're gonna go for a ride.
All right. So I'm gonna say actually they've got another siege machine that's back behind the hill that they haven't lifted yet, that they're still like halfway under construction. So there's one that they're building that's behind the army, and there's another one that's up at the gates that's in front of the army that's getting pummeled with grenades. Are you guys gonna try to get in front of the army and go up to the gates, or are you gonna go after the one in the back?
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Pat?
We're going up to one of the gate.
Okay, so you guys join the mob of charging ghouls as they run towards the gate.
I start jumping up on top of the knolls.
Okay. I guess do you have a freedom of movement move, I guess.
I have a lot of things for it.
Okay, go for it.
I can literally go. Let's see. Watch, I get an XP. That'd be funny. I haven't gotten XP in a while from that.
Jack, Zane. So knowing Jack, it takes you a minute to recognize him, but only one person could like charge into a mob of the army of the dark like that and somehow manage to like have a hope of making his way to the other side without getting murdered. And it's Jack.
All right, I got it. Oh yeah, I won't be coming back because I tipped over.
Yeah, you're not going to be going back through that army.
Nope, I'm just not going to make it.
Okay, you're definitely in defiance of sanity and safety.
And that's the other trigger. So
okay,
I jump up and there's something to swing down from.
Okay, so you swing down. You're charging into the middle of this army. So Ichabod, you see the dwarven defenders engaging. And fighting inside the gatehouse, trying to repel this onrushing horde of ghouls. They've kind of got the advantage initially because they've got this choke point that they can hold them at, but there's so many of them, they just keep coming and coming and coming. And Jack comes running in. Jack, what do you do when you get there? And Dram, what are you doing since you're still... I don't think you're able to keep up with Jack, probably.
Yeah,
onto my chain.
No, I can. I said Indian. I sit Indian style, and I put my fingers in Om circles, and I go, and then I start charging up like a flame ball that I ride.
Okay.
And I like.
Okay, give me a Zuko style.
All right. Here we go. All right, 9.
Okay. The effect is short-lived. That's really unfortunate for you in this circumstance.
Oh no.
So you go flying, you go hovering towards you. One of the soulless sees you, and they turn and start throwing javelins at you. They miss you, but it's enough to break your concentration to where you start plummeting towards the middle of this horde of enemies. The ones that are immediately under you are blasted by the flame ball and like flattened. Go ahead and deal your damage.
Oh, great. Oh, that.
Okay, so you kill like 4 of them as you land, but you're now surrounded by like 1,000 ghouls, and Jack's on the other side of this army. And we're going to leave it there for tonight because we're at the end of the session. There's one more thing that we have to do at the end of the session, which is the end of session move. Let me pull out the rules for that real quick. End of session. When you reach the end of a session, choose one of your bonds that you feel is resolved, completely explored, no longer relevant, or otherwise. Ask the player of the character you have a bond with if they agree. If they do, mark experience and write a new bond with whomever you wish. Has anybody resolved any of their bonds? Have you done what you set out to do? Is it no longer relevant? Has something changed in your relationship?
Nope.
I think, yeah, mostly I think I split you guys up at the beginning, so you haven't had too much time to leverage your bonds yet.
If anything, Ichabod now has a newfound respect for chairs.
Okay. Very good. Okay, you don't get XP for that though. Let's see, bonds. Okay, so no bond updates for this time. Look at your alignment. If you fulfilled the description of your alignment at least once this session, then mark an experience point. Does anybody fulfill their alignment?
Yeah, I think endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you. I taunted the spiders from Tharbdis, so...
Oh yeah, for sure. So mark an experience point for that.
I have not defeated a worthy opponent, sadly.
Okay. Who?
Would you argue that shift danger and hiding in the walls are the exact same thing?
What's the full description? Sorry.
Shift danger or blame yourself, or shift blame from yourself to someone else. Would you say shift danger is I hid in the walls rather than fight on the top and let the people up there die instead?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll give it to you because you're not in melee defending the gates. Yeah, okay. So mark an experience point for that.
That's just a very physical manifestation of the idea, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like he didn't just like trick somebody, or he like literally like people died.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have one more person I think that hasn't done it yet. Who was the last person?
Probably me.
Okay, Zane, what was your XP trigger?
If I help an animal or a spirit of some kind.
Yeah, sorry, there wasn't much opportunity for that this session. So no XP for that one. We'll get to that in soon-ish. Okay, now these questions are for everybody. Did we learn something new and important about the world this session?
That I really hate siege engines now.
That the Tain weapon doesn't suck the things in, it just opens a door, so we're gonna have to like lead the monsters into it or something.
Nice.
My javelins I built will target friend and foe.
Very good. Okay, so everybody mark an experience point for learning things. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
We're in the process of it, but we haven't quite done it yet.
No, did you?
I would say you guys succeeded in closing the portal. I think that counts. What do you guys think?
Also, we killed the 4. The Gower, what were they called? The
Specters, as I'm just going to refer to them as.
No, the word, it was Gower. No, not Gower.
Goal?
Yes, Goal. We killed Goal. Was that not notable?
There's a lot of goal.
I don't think the goals themselves were notable, I feel like.
No, they're not.
But what do you guys think about the portal? Was it notable? Closing the portal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the portal was
More
closed.
would have been coming.
All right. So everybody mark an experience point for that. And did we loot a memorable treasure?
Well, I don't know if I'm looting it, but he helped create it. Does that count?
The Tain.
I think that counts. Do you guys think that counts?
The Tain is a memorable treasure for sure.
Okay, so,
Well,
so everybody mark an experience.
Tain is kind of the same thing, so
Yeah, that counts. All right, so everybody should have marked 3 experience for those 3 things. And then for next session, what you guys are going to do, I'm going to look over the character sheets of the other existing characters and figure out what their levels are, and then I'm going to give you guys a level, and then you're going to advance your character to that level. So the way that works is we can do this at the start of the next session, or at least some of it if you don't have time, but let's try to do it between sessions if we can. So the way that works, level.
What's the formula? It's 12 plus the level you are, or
Yeah, so
12 plus the level. You...
So they're not doing that for this time because I'm fast tracking them, so they're going to keep whatever their current XP level is.
I was asking for myself.
Oh yeah, it's your current level plus 7 is what you need to level up. But you guys,
7.
yeah. So I'm giving you guys free levels. I'll give you a level, and then each time you increase your level, you're going to choose a new advanced move from your class, which are generally on the second page of your class playbook. None of you guys have spells, and then you're also going to choose one of your stats and increase it by 1, which may or may not change your modifier depending on what the stat was before. So increase one of your stats by 1, update the modifier if you need to, and then if you updated your constitution, also increase your maximum hit points. Any questions about that before we wrap?
So we're going up 1 level.
You're going to go up at least 1 level.
Okay.
So you'll
You'll
probably
tell
be a minimum 4.
Let me actually just check real quick because I can tell you guys now. Give me 1 second.
I'm 6. I think Tram is 6 or 7.
Okay, so Veranza's 5. You guys are 6 and 7, so you guys are going to be level 4, and then you're going to have whatever XP you earned this session on top of that. So you get 3
Okay.
you get 3 stat increases, and then you get 3 advanced moves from the level 2 to 6 section of your advanced moves. All right, and that's it. Good game, guys. Thanks for playing.
All right, yeah, it was great. It was great, like hearing all the great role play in the room. That was excellent. And I can't wait to like actually meet you guys in game now.
it's kind of hard to do a lot of roleplay when you're trying to not get eaten by gnolls.
Oh no, it was all great role play. Excellent work, everybody.
Good job, guys. Have a good night.
Take care. Good night.
Yeah, thanks for the game, Russ. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to wrap up the stream there. I want to say thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to follow if you're watching on Twitch, or subscribe. It's free if you're watching on YouTube. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Take care.